Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Movie Making Masters While Manically Shooting Manual Mode Motion Pictures. Uncle Gary Got Mauled by a Moving Camera Rig episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
Who's joining us today?
Joining us this week in the Days Grimm studio is Thomas Bernardin and Jordan Barclay. How are you guys?
Good. We're good.
Thanks for having us.
I'm good.
Good to see
Saw
you guys.
smile on that intro.
I did. Because you said my name right.
What's up, man?
That's
Men,
not,
gentlemen?
Not Jordan?
Good.
I can't talk again.
My esteemed colleague, Jordan.
I'm doing good.
I haven't seen either of you guys. I haven't seen you in a really long time. And
Yeah,
I saw
it's
you
been
like
a
a couple
minute.
months ago at the showing of Sack Race with Knives at the, what'd you call it? Estuarium. No,
the planetarium.
Planetarium at the museum, Evans
at the
Museum.
museum. Yeah, I'm pretty stupid.
Did you get to see the Van Gogh?
I have not seen it. but he
I
did.
saw it.
He did.
Saw it.
Nice.
It's cool.
Pretty tight?
I didn't have you guys seen it?
No.
No.
It's actually, I don't think this is a spoiler. It's made of glass. So it's not a painting. It's like a glass, almost like mosaic, and they have like a light shine through the back of it.
And that's why it's so
Pretty
rare
cool.
too. Yeah, because you know Picasso didn't do a whole lot of those. So it's and that's why like some people didn't even know if it was, because his glass pieces are extremely rare.
Wow.
I didn't know he did like mosaic glass style work. I thought he did all canvas painting.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty dumb.
But it's like he's got the like the lady model on there, like the figure of the, it looks like some of his other stuff, but it's just glass. It's pretty dope.
That is dope.
I need to see it. They're advertising it all over Evansville, and I feel like I'm a piece of shit for not having seen it yet. But
Does art like that tour? Or it goes from like museum to museum? Or did they just like stumble upon it in their archive?
They had it in their archives for quite some time, and either they said that they didn't know what it was, or they said they didn't know what it was, so that that it wouldn't get stolen.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, they could probably like rent it out.
They didn't know if it was like our
into their
zoo
collection or
where like all
think
the
they really
dying
wanna keep
animals
it,
go.
though.
Yeah.
what?
You haven't heard about that? We're in like the middle of like St. Louis Zoo, Louisville Zoo, Ohio Zoo, Indy Zoo. And so like when their animals get a little older, that's why like all our animals die, is because we get everybody's hand-me-downs.
Oh, we're getting third string zoo animals?
Well,
Yeah.
that explains it.
That explains a lot, man. That was a mopey looking tiger that I saw a while ago.
He's just like,
Dude, and they have them
Guys,
right
I'm
in front of the
here.
wildebeest. You know what I mean? Can you imagine like sitting there with like your food in the wild, like just
And
sitting there in front of you?
those giraffes they had, they were pretty ornery. They would lick you up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll take whatever you give them. Damn tangerine, whatever, dude.
So we've had Thomas on before. I don't recall the episode talk about factors, which Jordan, you were
correct.
a part of. But for our listeners that don't know you, you want to give them like a elevator pitch of like who you are and what you do?
Sure, I'm primarily a full-time photographer, and I've been doing that for a good 19 years now. But
Solid.
Boss.
in college, I did these micro documentaries, and I really, enjoy doing those. And I only do like a select number of video projects, once a year or less. That are local assignments, but I really wanted to, get back into that. So this is like my first like passion project, since college, doing Sack Race with Knives. So it's been, a long road, and
Your real estate photos are killer. Also, these houses,
Thanks,
oh my
man.
goodness, are these local? Like,
yeah, those are all local.
He's the king of real estate. He's the king of architectural photos. Is what I
Yeah.
tell
So
him.
I do events,
There he is.
weddings. I do architectural stuff. I do, product shots, for the museum and for artists. A lot of commercial portraits. So wide variety of stuff.
You're just kind of a jack of all trades. You're really fulfilling that utility knife description I gave you earlier. You're doing a lot of different things. So you don't film a lot, like once a year. Is that what you said? You choose to
just
do
like
one film a year,
yeah.
or about. Okay, and you did mention Sack Race with Knives. Just a brief description of that. I guess I could read the synopsis you were kind enough to bring in with you, just for the folks who haven't heard or don't know. So the Sack Race with Knives was, you guys were predominantly the filmographers, correct? Am I mistaken?
Yes. Well, I was Jordan did the filming of it, and then I was brought on mostly just as an editor.
Okay, nice.
So
And then, so a short synopsis that I have here in front of me: sculpture artist Kevin Titzer, local gentleman, by the way, only had 2 weeks to complete a large art installation at the University of Southern Indiana's Pace McCutcheon Gallery. I hope I said that correct. Mr. Titzer returned to his hometown of Evansville, Indiana, to construct an art installation. In this short documentary, filmmaker Jordan Barclay captured the entire process of gathering locally sourced materials and meticulously assembling the art installation. It's a really great piece. You did an amazing job with this. And obviously, his piece is amazing as well. He was kind enough to let me come over to his house, and I got to see some of his stuff in his studio. I don't know if you've been, just right down the road here.
Yeah.
Great spot. And he's just got a ton of creepy shit in there, dude. It's really cool. I didn't sleep really well that evening. But yeah, he's just the neatest guy. Super sweet, soft-spoken, but everything that he says means... like it means something. He's not one of many words, but he chooses his words wisely.
That's a great description.
Yeah, and his work just really inspired me. I mean, I always focused on local artists whenever I did things, back in college. So he was like one of the first people I reached out to kind of after that. Like, I'm ready for a next documentary. I'd love to do something on you. Just to find out that he moved to Canada, So I was like, whenever you come back in town,
What are you doing?
let me know. I'd be happy to document something. So years later after that, he hits me up about, doing this project.
Yeah. He's a big syrup guy, I would imagine, Canadians.
My brain just put that all together. I was like,
Syrup, maybe. And he also lived, there's the shot of the man himself here. If you're watching on YouTube, you're
like
seeing the video paused on Mr. Titzer,
bada boom.
the local artist. Really great dude.
That tux, too. How about it?
He looked sharp that night. And he was still finishing painting that day, I think.
Yeah.
Or something. He was still like putting screws and stuff in his tux or right before he put his tux on.
And he said he hadn't slept in
he pretty much finished
24 hours.
Yeah.
He was just on a bender,
A creative bender. All that dopamine.
Creative bender.
It often happens with those art. He's done a handful of these art installations, and it often happens, where he only gives himself 2 weeks on for a reason, just to not give him a whole lot of time to think about, what he's doing. Just do instead of, just work.
There's no room for procrastination.
Yeah.
Like you're on a time crunch. Yeah. And it's really neat. God, I wish I could have been there to see the installation.
Me too. I didn't get to see it.
It was up and it was down. I think he tore it down.
It just stayed up for like a month or two at USI, and then they tore it down.
And then I was explaining to you guys, he let me come into his shop after I spoke with him face to face for a little bit. He's got like a miniature one of those already started.
Yes.
In his studio. I'm sure you've seen the one I'm talking about, and there's already levers and switches and stuff on it. So I got to play around with that one, and that was pretty neat. Like, I don't know. I'm bummed that I didn't get to see the full sack race with
And
knives.
when he gets back in the country, we'll do his episode. Isn't he out of the country again?
He will be in Poland soon, right?
Norway,
sorry. He's
It'll be
going
Norway in October.
Yeah. Oh, we still got time then.
Yeah.
The land of the
I want to get him in here. I'm waiting.
He's doing another art installation there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to email us.
Awesome.
Kevin, if you hear this, waiting on your email. Dude, so what's new with you, sir? We haven't seen you in I don't know, a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been a few minutes. Yeah.
You've trimmed up the mustache, I see.
Trimmed up the mustache. Yeah.
I'm slightly
Back into
distraught.
rollerblading.
Doing the full beard. Yeah. Back into the rollerblading with the newly christened Sunset Skate Park.
Yeah, you gotta check that out, man.
So yeah, that's cool. No, just been still doing films, and I'm a independent filmmaker here in Evansville. So everything from like brand films to short documentaries and short fictional work too, like Factors and so forth. So
Yeah.
One thing I really like too is like you just turned 40.
I did just turn 40.
Sporty 40, sporty 40.
I turned 30 this year, and I'm doing like getting off of vapes and like minimizing a lot of like unhealthy habits. Did you do any of that like in your prep to 40?
Or has it just gotten worse?
No, honestly, it's I'm just reading this post here. I'm just trying to be more. Oh, that was me, Elmo.
Dude, I loved this post. You know, like a happy birthday to myself.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like the years leading up in like highlight.
Yes. And I think, and that's at the skate park there, I think I'm just trying to be almost exactly what this post gets
Just
across. Is like
grateful.
just being more thankful, more grateful, more like noticing and appreciative of, trying to be less and less hard on myself.
Yeah.
In the years to come,
Because everybody's hard on Thomas's.
everybody is.
You get all the name jokes. You get
So hard on Thomas.
yeah.
Yes.
Jordan, I don't feel like this is true. Like, come on, dude.
No, Jordan yells at me all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
Tom tells people I hit him.
Yeah.
They believe it though, so it works. You know.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Yeah, so a little bit of that. Trying to, move a little bit each day, do a little bit of exercise here and there. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Nice, dude. Well, for Jordan, you're a first time guest. So this next part's gonna get a little weird. But Thomas, you're a veteran.
I know what's
You're all too familiar with the death of the week.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go ahead and tongue in cheek this one. Thomas, you want to roll it?
The death of the week.
This week's death of the week brought to you by NPR.org. Big fan. Shout out. Actor Brandon Lee was killed by a prop gun years before the Rust shooting death. Oh, that was the Alec Baldwin film.
Yep.
Scroll back up real quick. This was written January 20th, 2023 by Julia Hayward. Onward. Here we go. Actor Alec Baldwin is facing criminal charges of involuntary manslaughter in the shooting death of Rust cinematographer Alia Hutchins, doing my best, in 2021. The incident is reminiscent of another on-set tragedy, the accidental shooting of actor Brandon Lee during the filming of The Crow nearly 3 decades earlier. Mr. Lee, who was the son of martial artist Bruce Lee, you guys were so right, I thought it was his nephew, who was the son of the martial artist Bruce Lee, died after his co-star, actor Michael Massey, fired at him with a prop gun during filming on March 30th, 1993. I was exactly 3 years old. I didn't know he died on my birthday. In Wilmington, North Carolina. Although the revolver was loaded with blanks, the gunpowder in the blank cartridge ignited, leading Massey to unknowingly fire a bullet fragment at Lee, who later died in surgery. While Massey did not face any criminal charges, Lee's mother did successfully sue filmmakers for an undisclosed amount. Decades later,
This just goes into the Alec Baldwin.
yeah, and
part.
then Alec Baldwin is kind of a piece of trash. And how do you shoot a cinematographer? How do you? I mean, I guess if there's like a frame that the gun needs to be pointed at the camera, I guess. But like,
I think he's rehearsing, right?
but what is? Why are you?
Dude, did you guys see that?
He actually got the trial got thrown out too.
Yeah, he got acquitted, but the guy who handles the firearms on the film is in water now.
Big trouble.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
in hot water. So now
Did you see the filming of Bad Boys and like Will Smith had that mount on his chest and he's firing one way and then he has to flip the camera around?
Yeah,
so hot.
that's pretty cool.
That
So
was
hot.
cool. That was
Will Smith, eat your heart out. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen the new Bad Boys. I really want to, though.
Either.
No, but yeah, I vaguely. I'm gonna pretend like I remember this. I was exactly 3 years old, so I don't really remember.
I remember
this.
hearing about it growing up because Bruce Lee was so big to like.
I definitely remember this.
I
Yeah,
was like 9.
Yeah.
I was 13 and like a big fan, of this movie, and like it was like it had an impressive soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like back in the day of like they use a lot of like popular rock musicians to compile like an amazing soundtrack. This was one of them.
Have you seen those people that make sound effects for movies where they're like jumping on beds?
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like,
Like
yeah.
the Foley
I
artists.
follow a few of those guys on Instagram.
Those guys.
You talk to your buddy.
They're so good.
You're talking about Eric DeLong, but
Eric
that was
DeLong.
more musical than.
Oh yeah, you guys talked to Eric?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Eric,
he's
Eric
great.
you got to watch his episode. We talked about that specifically. I think shortly after how he got stabbed by a homeless schizophrenic, but
Oh,
in
my
a coffee
God.
shop. But then later we
Yes,
started asking
that's
him,
a
what is
crazy
some of the
story.
weirdest things that you've done to make a noise or something, abstract? And we talked about that in a little bit of a stretch in that interview. He's a really neat guy.
Oh, he's awesome.
Where's he at? Is he back down in Nashville now?
He's in Nashville
Yeah.
still. Yeah.
Okay, sick,
Yep.
dude.
Shout out, Eric
Eric,
So, I want to know.
DeLong.
I want to know how you guys met.
Yeah, dude.
Jordan and I?
How did the bromance begin?
Oh my God, how did?
At USI. So I'm not sure if it was like the video art class that we stumbled upon each other, or some graphic design classes. But yeah.
I have a story of remembering of how we met that apparently is false.
A
that
false
I tell
memory?
everyone, I think.
Mandela effect?
Well, I always had it in my brain that you had a nice camera and like lent it to this class to be able to be rented out. That's not correct, right?
No, I had that
I've
Canon
told
GL1.
so many people.
So many
Wait,
people
you
that
had the
think-
Canon GL1.
I might have let people borrow it.
I borrowed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I let
It was-
I let you borrow it. I didn't let the class borrow it. So maybe, yeah.
Maybe you borrowed it for a
Well,
class.
Doyle Dean, did you just let me borrow it? We're uncovering something here.
I like this.
Maybe
it's
you-
unraveling before my eyes.
So, because I shot the first Ninjas movie on that one.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
because
brother.
that camera was my baby. I don't think I would have let like anybody use that camera.
Well, so as the story goes, Jordan willingly or unwillingly let me borrow a camera, and I started filming stuff. But it was part of a class we were taking at USI.
Oh, okay.
So you guys met in college,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice, dude.
and
then-
now you guys share an office space at the old courthouse.
we do.
So you guys cohabitat well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
is that a safe assumption?
do.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You guys seem very yin and yang. Does that make sense what I'm about to say? I'll elaborate.
I think so.
You
Yeah.
seem like a wild tiger.
I'm not always though. Like,
Am I getting close, right?
He's got Thomas energy.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, you
You got that big T, dude. You got that capital T.
Well, yeah,
Tom.
when you got the T in you,
Yeah.
you know, Thomas knows over there.
Yeah.
But no, Jordan and I get along really well because it's like, what I appreciate is like, because I like to talk. So sometimes I'm just talking. And,
Yeah.
And Jordan's so gracious. He's like, he'll listen. But then like sometimes we'll both just like, I'll be like, oh, it's been silent for like 2.5 hours. And we're just both at our desks, just editing, working on the computer. And we've got like, we're listening to like NPR Science Friday in the background or whatever.
Dude,
you know?
shout out to NPR for that killer death of the week, too.
Yeah, that was NPR.
How great is NPR?
Yeah.
They're completely.
I enjoy it.
It's like the Wikipedia of radio, right? And TV. Like they're completely funded by themselves. Like,
I'd hang out with Terry Gross.
don't they survive off donations? Basically,
I think so.
they're not
I'm
like
not 100%
they're not like federally funded or anything.
It's like
or they are
like
federally.
WNIN, like the local like channels. or
Yeah,
whatever.
and they've been doing it for like 130 years. So shout out to them, dude.
Maybe.
So you guys did
200.
projects together in college?
I don't think we really did anything in college other than just kind of like know about each other.
Yeah, we
And
just really
then-
admired each other's work. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think we worked on anything together. Maybe until 10, maybe.
Until way later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan was doing a piece for, and Jordan can tell you about this if he wants. He was doing a piece for Tin Man Brewery when Tin Man was here. He was doing a longer documentary and a commercial
Mm-hmm.
for them. And so he was working on the documentary, but he was like, he called me up and was like, hey, we have all this footage. We're trying to cut it down into like a 30-second commercial on TV or something. Like, would you want to work on this? And so I think that was the first thing we ever worked on. Is
So
he brought me a big hard drive.
So
with
what's
all
that like working on, like for both of you, like working together, you know, on like certain projects? Like, does one of you, I always wonder that, because like I always, like I have a short film and I would love to be a part of the filming process, and like I have an idea of how it would go in my head, but then like I would want somebody else to do like the editing or, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, with Thomas, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I always love working with him, and I admire him and his work, and we get along, you know. So even just to hang out on set, like, for Factors, was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about my Thomas. You know what I mean? Like, whenever we get together, it's just nice to have like a bro down. You know what I mean? It's cool to just
We're
like
good like that.
hang, dude.
God bless you.
Us
Thank
Thomases are good.
Yeah.
I feel like you're giving yourself a lot of
Well,
credit.
it's kind of
I'm
cool.
gonna. It's my 40-year resolution to be nicer to myself.
Well, I
Be
wonder,
kinder to myself. So I'm gonna talk myself up.
I wonder if Jordan feels like Brian in this aspect of like, I have high hopes and aspirations and I want it now, or like I'm on the like, hey, what about this idea, and Brian like grounds me back down, like, I'm like a kite flying out here with all this stuff, and Brian's like, oh, let's reel it back in a few feet.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, hey, we don't have $9,000 to spend on small people dancers to dance around in the studio. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have.
But that's a really
We don't have.
Wouldn't it be funny to see a mariachi band come out of the closet behind Brian?
Are they?
It's like, what the fuck is going on?
How do I know they're not back there right now?
Because we don't have mariachi money.
just hear somebody go,
Yeah.
who's back there?
Tuning up his French horn. No, yeah, we don't have mariachi money, but he does do that. He's a wild child, and I feel like you guys have that same energy.
Yeah, I think we balance each other out. Like, and then when you guys had me on the show, when I was doing my short film,
Factors, such a great film.
Filmed on
you.
film.
Yeah, such a great film.
filmed on film, filmed on
Fuji, right? Was it Fuji?
Kodak.
Sorry.
But it's only like there's like Kodak and Fuji, so you're half and half. You're
Okay,
almost
sick, dude. I was there.
Yeah, so it's, but like I had, Jordan like was a big part on that film, like was there most of the shooting days, and like, if I was like, hey, I'm thinking about like lighting this like this, he'd be like, okay, we should do it like that. We were just kind of bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah, I don't have anybody like that understands when I set up in here. Brian, I come in and the stands are all the way at the max height. I'm like, are we lighting the ceiling or like?
I had to do an episode last week without him. No, this week.
Oh no!
I shot Kenneth Elpers, just her and I, and her mom was hanging out with us. But Tom was he was not feeling well. I think he had like, what did you have?
You have the vid?
Bursitis.
I did have the vid.
Oh yeah.
Negative though. No, we would have canceled on you if I tested positive.
Yeah.
Still.
It's going around again.
I know. What the
Not as bad as the first time. Like
That
real
is
bad
correct.
allergies or head cold, some body aches.
Like when people
it's
are
super
dying,
mild.
It's not.
Yeah, no, I don't think Tom's gonna die. He's pretty resilient. But it was funny though, because like I had to set up all the cameras and everything and the lights all on my own, and I'm really comfortable with doing the audio. But like when it comes to the visual side of everything,
Yeah.
I'm in a dark room looking for a light switch. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, in
I had
that,
camera angles like pointed down like this. Like it's not gonna look the best, but
well, and that's a great point though. It's like Jordan and I, like, we both do a lot of the same things, but we kind of like have our own little like niches and stuff too. Like, so like to jump it back over to the documentary, like Jordan shot and filmed all this and directed it. But he, he had me come in to do the editing work on it. And so, I don't know how that was from your perspective to just kind of like,
well, on that topic though, did you have to adjust? So like me and some of my photographer buddies, when I was coming up and doing photography on a regular basis, it's like, one cool thing is like you could go to somebody's Instagram and you'd be like, that's like, basically you could put like several photos together, and if you had names below, like a multiple choice test, you could almost pin who was who. Did you have to like edit, you feel like, in like a different style, like a different...
I didn't want him to.
No, no. Jordan was like, I thankfully, I mean, it's like what every artist wants to hear. He was like, I like the way that you do it. Like, I want you to do it in your way to like put this together, which I was like, okay.
I don't know why, Thomas, why do you not shoot on a Fujifilm? I want to see your shots.
On Fujifilm?
oh, here we go.
Some of it, no, hold on. Some of
gentlemen,
it is.
Like not like a Fujifilm camera.
Pull 'em
but
out
like
on the table, I
like
guess.
an
Hold on.
X-T4.
No,
Jesus
I'm serious. You want to get nerdy for a second? That shot of the mountains with the little flowers right there,
Yeah,
that actually is on Fujifilm.
like an X-T4.
Actually,
or
no, I
film
lied.
film?
That's Kodak Gold 200. Shit. I thought that
Hashtag
was,
Kodak.
but some of them are. I can't remember which ones are. I don't know.
So you respect Fuji.
Oh yeah, Fuji's. If you want to get nerdy for a second, Fuji's have a little more greenish tone to their. I don't know. Nobody wants to hear this.
Is Kodak?
I do.
No. So we've
I'm
talked.
getting shoved up.
Yeah,
about Fuji.
we've talked about. He does get off on this, literally and metaphorically.
Different films have different looks,
Right. But so one thing that Thomas made me aware of with Fuji, the data packets are huge. Is Kodak the same way?
You're talking digital. Fuji,
talking film,
he's
film.
talking film.
Film.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. So, what is the big? You don't shoot any digital anything anymore?
Oh no, I definitely do. Because I have like normal like day-to-day like clients.
Yeah, like this top one right here is a Canon.
Most of it's digital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, like most of it's. I use a company called Black Magic cameras, and so they
Voodoo. Yeah, Blackmagic is what Zito uses, and
that's
Drew
what it is.
uses
Yeah.
it sometimes.
And so it's like digital. Digital
Wizardry.
filmmaking and stuff like that.
Nice.
But,
Very creative.
And what
name.
you might not realize, Brian, is so like Thomas takes a roll of photos on film and he sends it off, and then he gets digital copies back that he can go through and edit.
Like I don't even really get the negatives back. I mean, sometimes I'll save those if it's like a really cool thing, but a lot of times I just want like the like the digital, like they'll give me JPEGs to put on the IG or whatever.
If you had to choose though, for both of you guys, if you had to choose, do you shoot film ever, like film, or are
I
you
started off
strictly
shooting
digital?
stills and film.
Yeah.
That's how I, started off, but I have never shot video and film. It's weird to call it that, but
I still don't.
If you had to
Know what I'm
choose,
doing,
I assume your answer will be digital, but if you had to choose for the rest of your life, you can only shoot on either digital or analog. Which way are you leaning?
If it were paid for analog,
Yeah.
like
it
if
is
somebody
pricey.
was like, here's a blank check, but you have to shoot everything from now until you die on film, I'd say hell yes.
Okay, so you prefer that. And what about you, Jordan?
I mean, I prefer digital.
Digital?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I
that's
definitely appreciate, film, and watching what he does, makes you want to shoot film.
Yeah, it's gnarly, dude.
That's why, it's because it costs so much. You can't
It takes balls,
Yeah.
too, to shoot it on film.
Yeah.
You're dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in on this shot.
because you
dude.
could be wrong, and if you're wrong, you got nothing.
Well, and nobody wants real estate photos in film. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Here's this Polaroid walkthrough of this house. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's a good point too. Like some things don't make sense to do in film. Like somebody might come and be like, "Oh, we want to shoot a video of a trainer talking down at the gym on film." I'm like, "No, you don't. I'll just shoot this on my phone real quick." Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense, So actually, I would do it, but I'd be like,
This is going to be pricey. Oh, anyways, I was saying though, yeah, ChatGPT is where I was getting at with this. But ChatGPT in the last 6 months came out with a version that now you can put in a paragraph long, detailed description of what video it is you want to see. And GPT, right? Yeah, will create this scene.
yeah,
But that's if
Completely
you pay
from
for
nothing.
it now.
that's crazy.
You have to pay for that version.
for
But
it.
I was going to say though is like one of the new updates with the iPhone that's coming out with Apple Intelligence is you can sit down with a client and like set your phone down and record the voice of the conversation of like, hey, let's talk about what you want and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, you'll be able to summarize this voice note, and it'll give you all the key points from it.
Dude,
That's wild. It is too much.
Well, even in on like, I think people think of AI in creative stuff like very, very big like that. Like they think like, oh, it's going to be creating like whole scenes and stuff like that. But where I'm seeing it is like, so I use Final Cut Pro for Apple, and they just came out with an update that's just it's a thing that's called like auto light and color enhance. And so it's like if you just have regular video clips that you need to, because sometimes like color temperatures are off, like something might be warmer, something might be more blue.
Yeah.
Like you can put this effect on it, and it like it's like on your phone where like it'll automatically like enhance it and just like do it to what
Grab one for Thomas too.
yeah, to what it thinks it should be. And then sometimes you have to go back in and kind of like readjust it, of course. But you used to have to go through and like, you know, white balance everything by hand and like I need to add more blue here and blah blah blah. And this will get you at like a baseline. And
And then you can just micro adjust from there.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Jordan, I want to know. So, like,
Thanks, man.
I guess for the people that don't know, this short film that you just did, Sock Race with Knives, that started filming right before COVID.
Yeah.
And so, like, let's talk about that process and like what that was like, because you're filming, but yet people can't really be around, or like how it all happened.
Well, I
with
mean,
that.
the majority of it was filmed before COVID, fortunately. You know, so we didn't have to deal with it. You know, and we wouldn't even have the opportunity to have like the art opening. You know, if COVID was going on at that time.
Right.
So, but we did shoot one interview with Chris Sickles that was during COVID, and you know, Thomas helped out with that.
Yeah, I was on that shoot. Yeah, so we shot like one interview together.
Was that one of the professors? God
No,
bless
that
him.
was one of his colleagues from the Indianapolis area.
Oh, okay.
Chris Sickles? He makes these amazing,
Yeah.
again, these little like figurine type things, but he makes these little guys like this, and he does like stop motion,
He's
Like
amazing.
Jeff?
like Jeff, but with body and clothes,
Okay.
but he'll like put him in different like pose. He'll do little like
stop motion.
and then also like photography for like
Yeah.
huge magazines.
Yeah, I mean, he primarily does stuff for like book publications, and like if you go
like
into
New
like
Yorker magazine.
if you go into
shit
Barnes
like
Noble,
that.
you're gonna see several of his artwork like on the books there. Like
That's
like
so
You
matter
recorded
where
this
you
right
go.
before COVID, and then Thomas starts Factors, and so that slows your editing process for it.
Well, I don't know about
It
that.
did.
But
He's like, all bullshit aside, for sure, I slowed down.
let's just get it out there. Yeah. No, I hit a few things that slowed the process down a little bit, but
And then also worth it to slow down on one, because, and I say that, you know, in retrospect, because Factors was such a great film, like phenomenal. It's
thanks.
seriously
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing. And then when we interviewed you about it, to learn how you got the certain like little burn marks in the film and the different things that you would think that you would edit in digitally, you can't with film.
Yeah.
You have to do it on the spot as you're shooting.
Yep.
And you have to find creative ways to, and it's just such a,
No, yeah.
and for people that don't know, where can they find that film?
Vimeo.
Is it Vimeo only right now?
It is on Vimeo, and it is on YouTube also, but it will be showing at the Victory Film Festival as well in September
12th through 14th.
12th through 14th. I was almost going
Oh,
to say
so
a date
both
that was
films
wrong.
are going to be showing at the Victory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's got 2 films as well.
Wow, dude.
I'm an overachiever.
Big timer. Okay.
Well, so it's gonna be a great weekend, and we are absolutely gonna use this as a plug to be like, people should come out. There are some amazing filmmakers in Evansville.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like people need to come out and like support. Like, I mean, people that you know like made this shit, and it's good. I don't know
It'll
if
be
I
a
can
great
say-
year for local film, like mixed
Yeah.
in with a bunch of international films. So it'll be a good film.
Yeah, and
festival
there's
this
like
year.
international stuff too. Like last year, there was like a great film from like Brazil. I mean, there's like, but it's like housed right next to like a film that Jordan made, and then like a film from Brazil will show, and then a film from, and it's an international film festival. So,
And what's also cool is yours has gotten picked up by several short film, or well, did you enter them into the
Yeah,
short film?
oh my gosh,
It's
lot
gotten
of
into
festivals.
18 film festivals.
I know.
Like
I'm looking,
no
I'm
big
like,
deal. Like he's been killing it.
yeah, I know. I feel like every other day on Instagram is like, hey, this short film, this short film, this
Yeah.
short
And-
film.
And we're about 75% through the submission, so we still have a good chunk, you know, to go through as well.
What's that like? That's like reassurance, isn't it? That like, this was worth
You know,
it.
because me and Thomas have seen it so many times, you know, in the editing process, we're kind of like a little bit, sometimes we're unsure, is like, is it good? You know, like, you know.
Oh, we hit a whole point, and Jordan could talk about this too. Like we hit a whole point where we were like, I think both of us were just like, this is good, right?
I feel like that happens with anything that you do.
You know, like you do something long enough that you like really care about, and you're like, are we just delusional? Like this is good.
Did you guys
isn't
ever
it?
have to
Hold
not
on.
look at it for a week and then come back to it?
That happened a lot.
Oh yeah,
That's the exact point I was.
There was a
gonna
lot of
make.
breaks.
That's the exact point I was going to make. Is there's a famous musician or artist, some artist, multimedia artist, some famous person once said that like when you work on a project for so long, basically you become like numb to
Right.
what it is you've been working on.
Yeah, what
So,
the
like,
audience reactions might be.
yeah, so now it's time for you to not only just take a step away, but like take a step away, take time off, and have somebody else look
Yes.
at it and know who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
and look at this and
That
be
was
like,
part
am
of it.
I fucking
Yeah.
crazy?
That was
or
part of it, was
am I
sending it out to like 10 different
Yeah,
people and
yeah.
getting their
'Cause
opinion.
you get like there's a term. It's like blindness, not blindness, but like I'm blanking on it. But there's a term
Oh,
when you
yeah.
take something in so much that you become
Yeah.
like numb to
just
it.
kind of
Desensitized.
Yeah, desensitization. Yeah, you're like you become dumb to it.
Well, you should talk about like almost a year ago was when we showed it. Like the first ever. It was almost kind of like a trial screening.
Yeah,
of
as our
it
test screen at Seton
at-
Harvest. Yeah.
out at this place called Seton Harvest, and I was really like, because there are parts that like we think are kind of funny or quirky or like, oh, I bet people
They're like
prob-
Easter eggs for yourself.
Yeah, like I bet people will probably chuckle at this. And some of them they did, but then there were other parts that people were like, you're like, whoa, why did they laugh at that? That's weird. Kind of cool that they laughed at that.
They-
You know?
You learn a lot from public screenings.
I bet, dude.
Because we've seen it so many times, so we're not watching it that much. We're watching the people. You know, like we're watching the audience, see
I
what their
really
reaction
was that
is.
first time, yeah.
How many adjustments do you think you make throughout it? Like after the first screening, did you go back and tweak anything? Or?
I mean,
We did make some tweets.
Yeah, we did make some tweaks after that, but you know, after reaching out to like this handful of people, you know, for their input as well, we made tons of tweaks, and it lasted a while doing that.
What if you
too.
guys don't agree on something? Is it just, hey, whose film is this? That's how it gets chopped up to be, or
Well, I mean, we didn't agree on everything. I mean, I'll say it. There were a few that we did kind of have to learn how to like communicate to be like, and mostly it was us really kind of bouncing back and forth between each other to be like, there were a few times where I had to be like, hey, Jordan, I think like maybe we've both been so close to this. I still feel really good about this part. And there were other parts that Jordan fought for. He was
Yeah.
like, okay, I understand you saying this, but
let's just at least try it.
this was
you know.
really important to do it this way. And we would figure things out like on both ends. Sometimes there
Yeah.
would be some of those where the ones that Jordan would be like, I'd really like to see this happen. I'd be like, okay, let's try it. And it worked. And the opposite way
Yeah,
too.
and
So
other
it was a
times like,
good,
okay, Thomas, you're right. So it's like
Do you ever think
it's very humbling too. It's like, I gotta, no, okay. And I kept telling Jordan too, sorry, I cut
No,
in
no,
on
no.
there.
You're good. You're good.
I kept telling Jordan too, because we had input from a lot of people in the film, and sometimes it would just be me trying to like encourage him to be like, bro, like directed by Jordan Barclay,
Yeah.
you're in charge. Like,
What's up, Daddy?
you tell you tell me what you want in it because you're hired me as the editor, and you may have to kind of put your foot down towards others to be like, this is how it's going to be because it's my film.
yeah.
It sounds a lot like if a detective's wife gets murdered and he's trying to solve the crime, and then the chief of police is like, Johnny, you're too close to this. You're off the case. You know what I mean? You almost got to pull back a little bit.
and Kevin Titzer also, viewed several stages of the
Yeah,
draft.
how much input did he have?
He had input, for
Quite a
sure.
bit,
and there were some things that we took out because he didn't want in there. But there's also some things we left in there he did not like.
Oh, really?
That is like, it's like, you've been, it's like, I really want to make him happy because I want him to, be able to advertise it, for himself.
To love it like you do. Yeah.
So, but just like the title, he didn't like the title. So, we reach out to a handful of people. Well, everybody loves this title. And like, compared to the other one or certain, there's still some clips he doesn't like. And I get that. And I don't like that. I don't like that he doesn't like those,
That's the hard part for a creative is like putting
clips.
something that you pour your heart into. And then like the receiver's
Well-
like, I don't know about this part. And you're like,
but it's like, but those clips, they make it stronger. It's like, these make it better, and
I think artists in general are very hard on themselves. Like we were just kind of toying about, like the me turning 40 thing, but it's like we're very hard on ourselves.
Yeah, just imagine a documentary's been making about you guys, and you have to watch yourself doing all this stuff. Like you're gonna piece it apart like hell.
That's a real
like
bummer,
I understand Kevin being like,
documentary about me.
Well,
That's
I'm
a
just saying,
bummer, dude.
Anybody would piece
Actually,
apart.
we're here to announce our next project.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
The
Thomas
Grimm
does all kinds of little videos for like you're big in the Henderson area. I feel like taking many things. You just did a little short
Yeah.
on Robbie Zimmerman.
Big in the Henderson area,
Oh, they don't like us, dude.
Henderson doesn't?
No, Brian made a joke about their sign, and like the committee of Henderson commented on it.
No, it was Tour Henderson. The account Tour Henderson, like they're touring.
That's who I do all my work for.
They left a comment on this clip that we
Oh
made.
no! Shout out Abby Dixon. Love you.
It was probably her.
Brian was like, "This sign's dumb. Nobody hearts Henderson," and like they
It
were
was
like,
it was the downtown sign that they put up, and I just said, "Have you guys seen this ridiculous thing?" And then I like made a big spiel about it, even though it was just meant to get a little chuckle, and then we kind of went on.
We love you, Henderson. Don't listen to these people.
No, they're all right.
Keep hiring your very good friend for projects.
No, they
I'm just kidding.
No.
Actually, not kidding. But
I DM'd them and I was like apologetic, but also I left the clip up because
oh, they're great.
it was
They're
so
great.
good.
They're great people.
It was
do
a
you
big
find
hitter.
so like if somebody approaches you, Thomas, for a project or Jordan, do you ever like be like, well, like I know what you want, but like Thomas or Jordan would be better? Like, do you ever pass
Absolutely.
off
Oh yeah,
projects?
all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will come to me and be like, "We want video, we want pictures, we want," and I'm like, "I'll stop you right there. I can do the video part, but like, if you need photography, like,
Yeah.
because I take pictures like on Instagram and stuff, but I don't feel like I don't feel confident enough to do like a whole. I'd rather like hand them off to my buddy to get work from them. As opposed to, I think a great example of that would be with Andrew Cooper.
Such a good dude.
Super good dude.
Yeah.
I did some video work for him, and
White noise.
White Noise. That's right. That one right there.
Yeah, this was killer, dude.
And
Such a good shoot.
It was for his
Art installation.
first art installation over in London, and he was like, "Hey,
Artist residency.
artist residency."
yeah.
And
Maddox Galleries, by the way.
Yeah, and he was like, "I'm looking for somebody. I'm trying to find somebody that can take some really nice photographs of my pieces, like for the gallery, like portfolios and everything." And I was like, "Jordan, like he's taken photos for like at the museum and so forth." And so like Jordan was able to get work off of that, and then Cooper just got married recently. And they had Jordan do the photos, and then they were like, "Hey, Thomas, do you want to do the video too?" So, like, we're always kind of trying to bounce things here and
Well,
there.
that's cool
which
too,
is
because
really
like
neat.
this is both your guys' full-time job.
Yeah.
And you're like locked into the same studio, and it's cool to have that other creative person to bounce ideas off of, share projects with. Like, I assume like Jordan, if you get burnt out, you can kind of rely on Thomas to relight your flame, and vice versa for you, Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys have a problem? Have you ever like, or maybe we'll get to that at the end. Actually, I'll get to that at the end. But yeah, I wanted to ask about filmography. So, like, starting a film. I have a buddy. His name is Mike Farley. He recently opened a new. Will you look up? Yeah, close enough. Will you look this up so I'm not misquoting Mike Farley, please? Mike Farley. There you go. He's recently started this. Go down a little further. Go down. He started there it is, AF9. So this is by him. He owns this, I believe. And it was because he was in cahoots with some guy or gal out of town.
God bless you.
Let it rip,
I
dude.
don't know if I can let it rip or not.
Let it rip, dude.
Sorry, Mom.
No, but so somebody was telling him, because he's got this great idea for a horror film, and he was getting advice from all these other directors and people that have done horror films in the indie film industry, and they told him, they were like, you need a studio, and so he starts this AF9 Films studio, and then now you can go to the Slab. Tom, please.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
You know Mike Farley?
I don't know him personally, but
So he's a real good dude.
I haven't heard of him.
He's a real good dude. He's just getting all the
Like that.
he's getting all of the aesthetics, like
Yeah, that feels real cool. Right
fascia put together as of right now. So this is what he's kind of like
Yeah.
boosting to get funds for this film. But that was my question. He has a GoFundMe. Is there a link to his GoFundMe up
There
here?
he
By
is
the
with Bam Margera. You can't go wrong there.
yeah, dude, he's a stud. Ape's gonna be so mad. I don't know where anyways, he's got a GoFundMe link. I'll try to find it, put it in the
Cool.
description link. But okay, so on his GoFundMe, I think he has it set for like $15,000.
Okay.
Does that sound right for like an indie film?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds right.
that sounds
yeah.
cheap.
It
Yeah.
actually
That sounds
low.
cheap. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But that was going to be my question.
I mean,
So like
depends.
right before
Depends.
and factors is weird because
Or
you
we're
shot
like-
on film. But when you're starting a new film, like how did you land on the set amount that you needed for the film?
Well, I mean, I actually
A long-winded way to ask this question.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, I'm so sorry.
well, because I did a GoFundMe also, and I actually had a very ambitious goal of like 30,000.
How did you do?
I didn't hit it, and
No.
so I dropped it down to like 10, and I was still going to be able to do what I wanted to do with it, even at like 10, and even at 10, I hit like 8,500, which still was able to get me.
A couple rolls of film.
Yeah, and pay, and pay and pay the actors and pay
Right.
this. I mean, I made no money off of it, so it went to like
the production.
the production, paying the actors, the film costs, the props, fake blood, blah blah blah, all the stuff. But but as a filmmaker, it's like, you should tell them about. Isn't there like?
Well, I was going to pose the same question to you. So before you start the documentary,
Yeah,
where did you set your goal at? Like, I need $5,000 to shoot this
And
documentary,
at
or
the
whatever
film
it
festivals,
was.
like what they consider like.
Yeah, because
like-
it costs to enter in a lot of these
Yeah.
film festivals.
This
So
is-
what did that
this'll
look
blow
like
your
for
mind.
you?
Okay, so
Yeah.
this one film festival we got into is called Bare Bones Film Festival.
Oh, that's hot.
So Bare
Actually
Bones.
is.
Yeah, I'm into it already, dude.
So Bare Bones, a budget for one of these like micro budgets. Well, I'm not micro, but so a budget is like it had to be under $1 million for a short film. A feature length
Bare
film,
bones.
Bare Bones.
Bare.
A feature length film was under $5 million. So my film being $11,000, they were like, look what this guy can do with $11,000. A lot of other people had like hundreds of thousands.
So it blew their
dollars.
mind. It made you look
It made
really
me,
good.
It made me win Best Director for that film festival.
How's that feel?
Hell yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, brother.
That's right,
And
kids.
for most of these Best Director categories, they're only feature length films. My short film was in there with other feature length
What is it?
categories.
13 minutes? 18 minutes?
25 minutes.
25 minutes. Okay, yeah. It was not that long, I remember. And great film. Again, Jesus Christ. You absolutely crushed that film.
We tried to get it under. Our goal was to get it under 30 minutes.
So let me now, going back to your question, Thomas, with that. When you didn't hit your goal, did you find that you had to subtract a lot of meat and potatoes out of the storyline to... You know what I mean? Did the story suffer because of not hitting your quota?
Not really.
Or not your quota, but your goal?
Not really. I think it was. No, I mean, I think I kind of knew, like, regardless that I'm just stubborn, and I was just like, this is gonna happen. Like, if we make $500 or $50,000, but. No, we didn't have to cut any scenes or anything, or be like, oh, dang it, we can't shoot that now or whatever. But it maybe just detracted from like being able to spend more on like more advertising or more, maybe me actually walking away with making something from it, that was a,
or entry into some of these other.
Yeah. Or exactly. Or
Yeah.
or a little bit extra funds to be able to put towards like some film festivals and stuff. And it just wasn't there. But it's all like part of building for, the future. Like, I'm not done doing this. Like, I want to keep doing this. So like, I learned a whole lot. And like, when the next project comes around, I'll be like, okay, we did that. Did it this way. We're going to do it differently this way.
And Thomas has a great support system. He has a lot of, great, friends and people in the industry that were, willing to help out for, donating their services, as well.
Yeah, it's not about what you know; it's about who you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tom, you look like you're drawing a stick figure riding on a
I'm
bicycle.
taking notes, but I do want to take a quick bathroom break, and then we'll roll into the second half.
And we're back.
No.
All right, so
No, he'd
you were
be cool with it. He'd be
So
cool
you went
with
to
it.
high school with who?
Shout out Alex.
This guy was what he had.
So I went to a Catholic high school.
Shout out to the Catholics.
And so we had like mass and everything. And I don't know if you guys want to have this in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. We love the Catholics.
But like
Yeah.
he I'm not gonna say his last name, but he
Maybe don't.
he had the legit like sweaty hand syndrome.
Yeah, there's a name for it.
Yeah, so we were in the same homeroom, and we would turn to give the sign of the peace. You like shake someone's hand, and
In mass.
yes,
Yeah, so it's like peace be with you.
Yes.
Also with you. Yeah.
For 4 years, he'd turn around and be like, "Sorry, Tom. Sorry." And he would close his eyes and take my hand and go, "Sorry." And by senior year, I was just like, "Put it there, Alex. I don't care, man. Like, give me that sweaty hand.
Give me
It's
that
all
peace.
good."
Give me that peace.
So I almost said this off air, and they said you should. Do this.
Thinking about confession.
But Alex would be cool with it. He's a cool dude. He had a great sense of humor. We would joke and kind of like be funsies about it,
Slim Shady
He'd be like,
'cause his
"Hey
palms are
man," he'd be
sweaty.
like, "Hey, sorry. Tom. Sorry, man. Sorry." I'm like, "It's okay, dude." And I just wanted to show him, like, "Dude, I love you. It's okay."
What does that say about him, dude? That he must really be like distraught by the sweaty hand syndrome.
It's apparently you can get some kind of electrosis or something to fix it.
Dude, we gotta. Alex, we're praying for you, brother.
But-
all right,
so I wanna know-
He's good.
So during COVID, I wrote a short film, and I want to know like what your guys is. So like, what do you think the bare minimum needs for like a short film project is? We'll go with both of you. So
bare bones, if you will.
There's so many factors to,
Oh, did you do that on purpose?
I see what you did there.
Bam.
I mean,
All right.
I think Thomas might.
All right. Such a unique relationship. I love both
I
of
mean,
you.
with Thomas's project, he had a script. He had, like an estimated, time slot, of like how long it's going to be, and and just like working toward that budget. With mine, the documentary is totally different. And like whenever I started mine out, I thought it'd just be like a little micro doc like I did back in college, less than 10 minutes or so, and it just snowballed into something bigger. So I only thought it'd be like 1,000, maybe 2,000 out of my pocket.
But you're thinking like, I got a camera, I got a microphone, I'm good.
Yeah, like I got everything I need, to do this, and I'm just going to interview Kevin. Stop with that, but no, it just kept on snowballing something bigger. So if I would have known how big it was, I would have done some kind of crowdfunding, or something
so
else.
you didn't?
No,
You did
No, so-
outsourcing.
You got a few like grants. And
yes,
stuff, right?
USI, did give us $3,800, which was great. And
Did you have to apply for those grants, or was it like kind of
we
offered to
applied
you?
for it? Yeah, and like USI had a lot of ties to our documentary as well, but and it we got it at the right time too, like around COVID. So it was like immediately dispersed to Thomas, to anybody that helped out, that wasn't paid, that knew that it was kind of my pocket, so they chose not to get paid. So once they knew it was coming from USI, I'd like, yeah, I'll take it.
We were getting, if I remember right, we were getting Trump bucks back then too. right? Did that help along with the process?
Did we get Biden bucks too?
I don't remember.
I call them Trump bucks, so Brian kind of just calls them that. But I was like, I built my editing PC with my Trump bucks.
Oh, I think I bought part of something for my camera with those bucks.
Yeah, because it wasn't cheap. It was like a couple $1,000.
That's what one thing too that a lot of
chunk.
people, a lot of the viewers might not realize is how expensive all the equipment is.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yet alone audio that we have invested in podcasts, but camera equipment, even sometimes like a lens costs more than the camera itself.
Oh,
Sometimes, most times,
easily.
most times.
But Tommy, it really depends on like your script. How many locations are there? How many, actors and actresses? How big of a production
Right.
do you need? There's so many different factors.
I got it.
So many different factors. Thomas, what about you for like bare minimum
Plug-in.
Bare
This is
minimum.
not even about my thing.
bare minimum needs for a short film?
Bare minimum. I mean, I think it's really just knowing knowing the story that you want to tell. I mean, just piggybacking off of what Jordan said, like, if really it's figuring out how many days. Like,
So do you have to storyboard before you could necessarily put together your bare minimums for the project? Of
I
like,
assume so.
Yeah, Thomas had a storyboard.
I think so. Like for Factors, I wrote a script and then I, would go to coffee shops, like breweries and stuff, and would just sit down and be like, okay, like I think we could shoot these 4 scenes in one day. Okay, so that's one day. And then you just like focus on, when it's time to film. But you kind of have to go through all that and figure out, like, that was helpful for me to figure out, like, how many total days do I
Yeah.
and that's one thing too.
And especially if you're shooting on film, because time, your rolling time is money.
Right.
As soon as you flip that puppy
Yeah.
on, dude.
So like he has to know,
yeah.
exactly how many rolls he needs. He needs to know like exactly how much,
And don't
money's
load them
gonna
in
be spent
backwards,
there.
for Christ's sake.
No, that's the thing.
You
That's
wasted
the
a
thing.
whole roll in reverse.
You know what happened to me recently? I said I was going to stop talking, but you know what happened to me recently too?
He's like, by the way, I'm just gonna ramble. I'm a rambling man.
I shot a thing in March, and it wasn't for like it wasn't a short film or anything, but I went to Utah, and
I saw this on your social media or
Yeah.
on YouTube.
well, I was
One of the two.
Yeah, I was a dummy and took my film through an airport, and it got X-rayed.
The X-rays ruined it.
And the X-ray damaged the film. And
That's
so I
crazy.
was just like, I knew better than that. And I thought, it won't be, I think it'll be fine. It wasn't.
No?
And I learned. So you're still learning. Like you're
Right.
still, I mean, those are still the risks
And I
you
think
take with stuff
a lot
like
of
that.
people, like when they watch a movie, they don't realize like if all the scenes are in this one location, they're filming all those scenes that day or that week.
Yeah.
And when they're filming these movies, they're not filming them necessarily in order. It's like, all right, we're doing page 5 through 10, and then we're doing page 46 through 50.
Oh, no. There's a big possibility they might start
With the finish.
with like the last scene
Yeah.
or something.
I don't think I told you, Thomas, at the last film festival, Indie Shorts was like one of the big ones that we've done.
I just realized you're wearing that shirt.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that was our first like Oscars qualifying film festival. So that was a
yeah.
big
Oscars.
one. But there was another short in that film
shout
festival
that out.
that was $800,000.
Wow.
I'm sorry, say that again?
$800,000 to film his short film.
What was his short film? 30 minutes, 40 minutes?
Was it good?
Less than 30. Yeah, it's around 30. I didn't get to see
I'm unhinged.
it. Was sold
Sorry.
out. He had 2 sold out
is
screens.
criminal.
I didn't get to see it.
That is you didn't even get to watch it?
No, I didn't.
Do you know the name of the film?
The Ice Cream Man.
Okay.
Nice.
Mark that down right here. Somebody
I'll
mark
write
that
it down.
All right. I want to look this up after the show. 'Cause
So,
I need to know what an $800,000 30-minute
I
film
just
looks
stared
like.
your
So
kid
anyway,
when he said ice
budgets can range, from very small to very big. But he had like a known actor,
Do you guys
and, like,
have any
Oh,
advice?
that's where the budget came from.
Do you guys have any advice for like crowdfunding or like fundraising for your films or projects?
cream.
A lot of car washes.
I wish I did because I don't have much experience in that, But I know my next one I want to do right.
Do you have any ideas? Like I guess Thomas maybe can help you out, but like
Kickstarter, GoFundMe.
I will say
Bikini car washes.
bikini car washes. I didn't do that. Kickstarter, you get a lot of momentum, but if you don't meet your goal, you lose
All the money.
All the money.
Is it like GoFundMe where you can set a small goal and then raise it after you hit that?
Well, I would probably suggest GoFundMe because like whatever you raise, you get.
Mm-hmm.
Now you may end up. I think the trade-off though is that it's like a scarcity mindset. So with Kickstarter, people will be like, "Oh shit, it's only till Sunday. Like I better give and I better give now," as opposed to like GoFundMe where
Open-ended.
where people are like, "I'll give. I got a paycheck coming in 2 weeks from now. I'll give in 2 weeks," and they'll forget.
Right.
So it's like, but I will say, and here's a bit of advice: I got most of the funding for Factors by literally writing letters to people, like family, acquaintances, people. Like, hey, I had a picture of me. I had letterhead. I printed it. It was basically just paper, and I had like a picture of me, and was just like gave a little update. Personally wrote like 30 letters and was just like, "Hey, I'm working on this project."
What do you think that granted you?
I think it granted
Over 1,000, you think, just from those letters?
More than that.
I think that probably brought in like $3 or $4 grand.
Well, did anybody ask to see like the script?
No,
To donate?
not one person.
But you would have obliged.
I would have obliged, and I'm convinced like there's probably half of those people that I think
Haven't seen the film.
no, and I don't think they cared to see it. Not because they didn't care about it, but I think they were just like,
wanting to support you.
we know
Yeah.
Thomas. He's making some art. Sure,
Yeah.
like we
What-
support the arts. We'll
Pure
just give
place
to
of
it.
love, yeah.
What if somebody like myself or Mike Farley came up to you with an already written script and they were like, "Hey, I got this script, but I don't necessarily know about filming it." Would you be willing to take on that film?
Possibly, if
Funds already included. Let's assume they have their funds.
if there were funds, because that's a big hill to
Mhm.
climb if you don't, because it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. So it's like you
in that exact scenario, actually both are kind of, one is more of a dystopian kind of science fiction kind of film, and the other is more of a horror film, but they're both kind of horror-esque.
I like that.
Would you do like that? What about you, Jordan?
Sure.
Would you ever take on like a horror style?
Yeah, I've
given
actually,
the opportunity.
I've actually been working as a cinematographer on my friend Shane Hazen's film, which is a horror film.
Yeah,
Nice,
So,
dude.
I've always wanted to. I mean, like he was also like a buddy of ours from college. He did amazing things, and he has been an editor for like huge motion picture films. So he's an amazing editor, and I know it'd be fun to work on that with. But yeah, I'm always open to try new things as well. But documentaries is pretty much my thing that I kind of take jobs on. But since Shane was a good friend of mine, I was willing to kind of step outside the box. But I know that I can do these kind of things as well.
What's your next project? Do you think it'll be documentary based or?
Most likely. I mean, even my commercial work is all documentary based.
Have you seen these guys? They have full on YouTube channels that are like mini documentaries where they just like research a topic and make a mini documentary on it, and then they release it, and they do like 3 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what they get their full on income from.
I did not know.
There's
people were
like
doing
an
that.
Asian guy that does like say it'll be on like World War II, and like he'll put pictures and like little video clips and like
Yeah.
deep dives, and then he does the voiceover himself. Sounds pretty white. I was surprised. And then like, but like he does it. But he was talking about how like he does
kind of like Brandon Lee.
he does like 3 a year.
fucking savage.
He does like
Thomas. You can't take Thomas's anywhere.
he does like 3 a year, and like the residual income, from the views or whatever, like funds the next one.
Well, and that is a whole thing. Is like, I have been up at 3 a.m. and been like, I make money by making YouTube videos, like not just posting my videos on YouTube, but like there are like, and there's a whole new brand of like YouTube filmmakers.
Well, I was even thinking about like some of the stuff you post, like where you're in front of the courthouse and like these little bitty
where
clips
I'm just like
or whatever.
brooding about something.
So like I've been tossing around this idea of doing like a Star Trek pilot's log, like like
Hold on. Let me.
Can we play the audio?
So this one I posted,
and that's not the.
which I appreciate this. Jordan texted me. My mom texted me. I got another text. They were like, "Bro, you good? Yeah, all right." And
Really?
I'm like,
I like
and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm just like, I'm just kind of like sharing some thoughts, which I kind of do that from time to time. I'm also glad that I have people that love me that are checking in on me.
I just think that like documenting like these many videos that you make, even like this Robbie Zimmerman one, you know, like just posting stuff like that on YouTube, which is crazy because like Brian, when I met him, was doing Boredom Bros, and I was showing somebody Boredom Bros last week, and they're like, "You should delete these and repost them. Like they would be better now than when you released them originally."
Well, and a lot of things like the thing with Robbie, like he's just a badass dude and like makes all this amazing carpentry stuff, and like he built that, and like he built all the like structures at the new skate park to like pour the concrete and stuff.
Yeah, he had mentioned that. Yeah.
I was just like, bro, like we should do something. And like he's built skate parks, and so I just went to him and was like, dude, like, can I just make something on you? And again, we were talking about like artists that like, I think artists are reluctant to be on camera just because, you know, they just want to be behind the scenes and do their thing. But I think it's important for us to be like, I think it's important to showcase other artists too, like what Jordan did to Kevin, where it's like, you know,
he's actually a prime example of exactly what you're saying.
Because he didn't really
Kevin is not the kind of guy that talks a lot, wants to be in the limelight. He does not care about that. What he cares about is this weird manifestation that he has going on, and then making it come to fruition, and then seeing everyone see that manifestation.
And
that's what he wants.
And it took Jordan to be like, hey man, like what you're doing is really cool.
Is that what you think you'll do on some of your next ones? Is like you'll find an artist like I Am Cooper or somebody, and you reach out to him and you're like, hey, let me film you in your process?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, you know, and like I think, you know, and Thomas, you know, can attest to this too. When you're working on a video about an artist, you can also be more free when it comes to the edit and like, you know, your approach to film, you know, like a certain artist, you know, I feel like you can be more creative yourself.
Yeah, they're like free thinking people. They're into the abstract. They find the beauty in things. So for you to say, this is my thought of, you know, like you put this creation together, they look at it abstractly and they're like, yeah, that is beautiful.
It's not like typical commercial stuff where you have to follow their guidelines. Or
X, Y, Z.
Or they might send you a certain example of something. It's like you're
painting by color.
You're
or
making
painting by numbers.
You're making your own art piece about their art.
Yeah,
you know,
that's interesting, man.
What's family art life balance like for you guys? Because you both have kids, so like what's that balance life of like the creatives? I feel like we have no set schedule.
How old are the kids, by the way, both of you guys? I'm just out of curiosity.
Sure. I have two boys. They are 11 and 7.
And yours?
And I've got 2 kids with my wife, 8 and 10, and I also have an adult son that's 24.
Yeah.
Hats off to you guys. You're way better men than I am. But anyways, back to what he was saying. What is that balance like? Trying to create something beautiful, but then also you have a family to provide.
I mean, sometimes it's hard. You know, especially when it's like, you know, when I know that, like for personal projects and even like client work, where it's like, you know, more so for client work, where it's like, like this festival is only happening this weekend. They want to hire me to come and film. Like this is a weekend with my kids. I can't have my kids this weekend, you know, or I'll have to like, cause I'm divorced, you know, we'll have to like rearrange the schedule or whatnot. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, I like to try and like tell my kids, you know, like this is what dad does, you know, this kind of means like certain things sometimes. They're completely not impressed by it.
Do your kids get into it at all?
My youngest son was like, I got him a camera, like just a little point and shoot camera. And he was like, they actually both will get, they have a really good eye. So like they'll take pictures just, you know.
But it's hard to get them to sit down and edit and tweak.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not editing anything or doing anything like that. But like this weekend, for instance, like my kids were with me and like we were at Dairy Queen, and my youngest son was like, "Dad, give me the phone," and he just started like filming, and I was like, "Oh, cool, you're making a vlog," you know. And of course, I acted stupid and was like, "We're at Dairy Queen. We're at Dairy Queen." And he was just like, he thought that was the coolest thing and like wanted to watch it later. And I was like, oh, that's cool how you got your brother in there. And so I'm like hoping to try and instill some of that into like, oh, that was a neat picture that you took. Like, like this is what was cool about
like
that.
endorse that, advocate for
What
it.
about you,
And then
Jordan?
for you, Jordan.
I mean, I love inspiring my kids too. That's, you know, a big part of what I do as well, to try to, you know, inspire them. So, you know, even taking them to some of these, you know, screenings, you know, I mean, they thought the museum one was just like super cool.
Yeah,
You know,
it was so
it's such a
great.
cool environment. You know, the planetarium is, you know, a lot of fun.
And it's cool to show your kids that, like, hey, like, if you follow your dreams or your passion, like,
This
you
is
can
what you
make
can
it
make.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God, because if you would have told me like 5 years ago that you'd be able to do this, and it kind of took, this is not where I'm going to go with this, but like it took some really hard things happening in my life to make me realize like that, oh, I've always wanted to do this. Like I'm not getting any younger. Like I should try, you know? So,
What is the?
and I hope they see that.
What does the 24-year-old do? Out of curiosity, is
He works
still?
at Berry Plastics right now.
Okay, okay, nice. And then,
Shout out Barry Plastics.
hell yeah, dude. And then the two younger ones you said were how old, Jordan?
8 and 10.
8 and 10. Are they showing signs of like creativity? Or
Oh
being-
yeah, I mean,
they love it.
My wife's also an art teacher,
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
like there's just stuff.
They're getting it on both. Yeah.
There's stuff everywhere around the house to make things. So
Does she ever give you input on, like, your video projects at all?
yeah, she'll help, and you know, she'll ask my opinion on her projects as well. So I mean, we both really enjoy sharing that with each other. And yeah, the kids love to paint and draw. My 10-year-old River loves to make music, so I love to encourage him in that, so there's a lot of aspects that we are just like, we have all these things to their disposal. We just
Hell yeah.
always go
I
after
am
it.
really struggling over here. Everything,
What's wrong?
Everything you said was beautiful, Jordan. I just
Did you pee yourself?
no. I
Oh, okay.
burnt myself making bacon this morning. There was a little blister right here,
And it just popped?
and I just pressed on it, and it literally shot.
Hell
It
yeah.
might have gone on your wall.
That's hot.
That's
We'll
fine.
Lysol it.
It's just body water.
Yeah, dude.
It'll
I love
buff
some-
out.
I like some body water.
And I freaked out because I just was like, oh, yeah, that's there. And I pressed on it, and it went, and I thought for sure everyone saw that.
No,
And then I looked around and was like,
Not
It's
because
a
you
play it
pointed
cool,
it out.
man.
Yeah.
nobody did.
I was gonna say, what
Now
do you
I'm
guys?
pointing it out.
What do you guys do to get in those flow states and to combat burnout?
You can
Yeah,
keep
how do-
that or cut that or whatever.
What do you guys do, man? How do you keep from getting burnout on working on the same old stuff day in and day out, especially like the corporate gigs
Or
the
like
paid
having
gigs?
to like, I feel like when I do a video project, I have to like chain myself to the computer for a week.
oh, yeah.
Or like I like this last project I did. It was nice to like set basically in my schedule to where like 2-3 hours of editing and then like an hour of chores and then 2-3 hours of editing and then like an hour of chores, and it helped me get the whole thing done.
Do you guys have anything like that you do to help combat?
Burnout.
Yeah.
Music for me, like in the winter, is kind of like that too. Whenever things get real crazy, like
You physically play it yourself?
Yeah.
So you're a musician. That's nice, dude. Okay.
So
You're all
just-
kinds of
so just
artistic.
making music will really help me turn my brain around whenever I'm stuck or something, and just get into something else, and also just
Jordan has cool, like, electronic-y.
What do you play? Or is it all on electronic? Like
well, I mean,
laptop?
I started off playing guitar and bass, but I feel like I've been playing a lot more keyboards lately and
Okay.
digital apps and more like stuff for film, more cinematic type stuff.
Instrumental type stuff.
What about you,
That's-
Thomas? What do you do for burnout?
I have a question for you after this. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, mine's less exciting. I just like what you were saying, like I just try and take breaks and even like through the day, like I'll purposefully, like our office is downtown at the courthouse, like I'll be like I'm gonna take a break, like I'm gonna walk over to Main Street and get some coffee and then come back. And a lot of times even just walk over, like, or I'll be waiting in line to get my coffee and be like, I know what I'm gonna do.
Something hits you.
edit down. Yeah, it's kind of like you have to break yourself out of like
And
the doing of it.
Yeah.
It's like the thing where people are like, you get the best ideas when you're like on the toilet.
Do you
But
put
it
those
is
in
true.
do you put those as like notes in your phone?
Sometimes if they're like drastic enough where it's like, oh, I'm gonna forget this. But a lot of times, I'll just try to hold it in my head until I get back to the computer as quick as I can just to put it in or something.
I have a question on music. So Jordan plays music, and that's interesting that you also do film. I'm a big fan of instrumentals, like instrumental bands. I love a good instrumental track while I'm like reading, just in the background of like having that. It helps me get into a state of like just cognition. You just kind of, while I'm reading or while I'm working and crunching numbers, whatever. One of my favorite instrumental bands, and they've made it onto tons of huge Hollywood cinema films. Explosions in the Sky. Right? So fucking good.
Yep.
Who's your go-to? Like, if you're just trying to hit the reset button, if you just want to sit in a quiet room for a minute, what instrumental band are you flipping on? What's your go-to?
Man, that really depends on what I'm doing.
Really?
If I'm trying to get a bunch of work done, it's like metal. Like
Jordan's a great DJ.
Do some instrumental metal?
I'm like, hell yeah, there's
Well-
some Tool on right now. Cool,
Yeah, it depends on what I'm doing. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think I do like, quite a few different genres of stuff, but I don't know.
But like specifically instrumentals, like stuff that you would hear in film. Do you have a favorite
But I
band?
do like explosions.
They're
in
so
the sky.
good. And If These Trees Could Talk is another good one.
Like Mogwai is kind of like that too.
Mogwai is really
you know?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like set routines to get you in flow state?
A lot of times we'll listen to like movie soundtracks in
Yeah.
our office. Like
Hell yeah.
we'll put on like Oppenheimer, like Interstellar, or
Such a
something
good
like
film.
that.
Have you heard the latest Christopher Nolan
I know
theory?
what you're gonna. Oh
Theory. Have you heard the theory about Interstellar? The most recent one that came
no,
up?
tell me because
We gotta talk about
love
this. Yeah?
Please
Okay.
talk about it.
Somebody posted a TikTok about it. And I don't know how this kid got a hold of it, but the TikTok has gone like viral. But
Something with Interstellar and Oppenheimer.
No, Interstellar only.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Interstellar
tell me. It's
only.
like my favorite movie.
Starts a movie. And he gathers this all from these two clips that he ties together. There's one clip of when he's in the Air Force and he's flying the thing and he's experiencing a lot of turbulence. And
Yep.
it shows a clip from the side of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Then later in the film, it shows that same clip. It's the exact same clip of the side shot of the same spacecraft that he's flying to these other planets and stuff.
Shit.
It's the same exact clip.
I
Like,
think I know what you're about.
Yeah.
so then they drew this conclusion that he grabbed from somewhere else that he died in that first plane
I
crash.
knew you were gonna say that.
So the whole film is his transition from death to eternity, to like his final resting place.
Wow.
So, and then that's why when he visits his daughter in the cylindrical whatever
Yeah.
spaceship on the way to wherever,
Yeah.
he walks into the room and sees his daughter, but no one pays attention to him.
He shows.
It's like he's a ghost.
Yeah, and he
Nobody knew him though too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
no
he
one
shows-
even looks at him.
he
just
shows a
walks in.
lot of emotions through the rest of the film, but he's never really scared.
Have you heard this?
No,
Have you heard that
I haven't
theory?
heard that
But,
theory.
but like he's never really
Look into it.
He's
It's
never
good.
really frightened by anything.
No.
like he's just like, oh shit, I'm in a black hole.
Yeah.
But he's not scared. He's just kind of like
Numb.
he's trying to
Indifferent.
figure it out. That's very interesting. Also,
Now go rewatch it, thinking he's dead from the scene one.
Also, more Interstellar.
It's totally
news.
different.
In December, Interstellar is re-releasing in theaters on
yeah.
70 millimeter
On
IMAX.
IMAX, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Got to get out there and see that.
What do you guys do when those creative juices aren't flowing? You sit down to edit and you're just not feeling it.
I mean, sometimes I'll take breaks working out or like tending to my garden. If I'm at home, there's, just other things to get away, or just go for a walk downtown, but I mean, or sometimes you just got to plow through it,
Yeah. That's
Sometimes
the
there's a
worst.
deadline and it doesn't matter how you feel. You
Yeah.
just got to do it.
Yeah, sometimes plowing through will get you there, and then other times it's just like, well, and I think there's levels too where, and I hope the listeners will know, people will know what I mean by this, where it's like sometimes there are like moments where I'm like, even if I'm not like 1,000% on this, I'm almost confident my client will be happy with this.
Have you ever hit a project where like they're kind of vague on what they want, and you put it together and then they're like,
Oh,
I don't
sure.
like that, and you have to go back to the board and like cram something out in a short amount of time?
Kind of, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's something you deal with across the board. Is it's hard for people to know. Most people don't know what they want, really. I mean, you can take that on like every aspect, but especially like creatively. And I think for me, and I think Jordan would probably speak to this too, a lot of times, like I feel like I'm more of an educator than a filmmaker. Like when I go in to meet with somebody and they're like, we have this business, I'm like, okay, well, here's what we could do. You know, because they're just like, all we know is like we have some money, we want to make a video. And so it's your job to be like, well, what's important to you? What do we need to get across?
What style of video?
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are your options.
Do you want this for social media? Do you want this for television?
And so you're kind of just being like bumpers for them to like keep the ball in the lane of like, well, we could do this or this or this. And a lot of times they'll be like, we like that. And it's like, okay, well then let's do that. And
so now we're shooting a commercial. So
Right.
Yeah. So you like narrow the pathway and then keep it on the rails.
I don't remember what the question was, but it was
like rework. It was like when you shoot something and they're totally unhappy with what you shot, but they also had no idea what they were getting into.
Sometimes you do exactly what they asked for, and
they're still not happy.
And they are still not happy, and then you realize I don't think they knew what they wanted from the beginning anyway.
Well, that's like kind of a hard point, like Jordan mentioned, like in this last film or
Please
whatever.
still hire me,
where
people.
like you put like something, you put like your heart, sweat, and tears into it, and you deliver a project, and then like they're like, I'm not sure about that, and like it hurts the creative side of you because you're like, that's the my artistic expression.
Yeah.
But then like the product you're delivering, the business side of you is like, well, I want the customer to be happy with what this portrays, and so like you're kind of torn between like the
you have to
two.
find
that on
you
the
have to
doc.
find this happy medium. Yeah. So, I mean, especially with that, I mean, you know, the documentary was a passion project. You know, Kevin didn't hire me, you know, to do it. You know, but he knew that I wanted to do something on him, and I mean, but who wouldn't want to make the client happy too, you know, and make them proud to show the film as well.
Let's think.
You know?
I just had a really abstract way to consider what it is we're actually talking about, right? So let's say I am Cooper. I am Cooper,
Yeah.
right?
You are
And
Cooper.
I get commissioned by like this dude.
big time.
This dude is like,
Bro is in the big time though. If you don't know,
if you don't know
Cooper's
I am
work,
Cooper, you need to look this gentleman up. We've had him on the podcast several
also
times.
nicest dude
So good.
you will ever meet.
You know he's from the Midwest when you meet him.
100%.
He's the kind of guy that says dope or oh, you know, that kind of. Anyways.
but also like,
But imagine you're him for a
Dude.
second, because this is really applicable to what we're just now talking about. He's an artist, and some dude commissions him to be like, hey, make this thing for this or whatever, X, Y, Z. This person that wants this thing has no idea about painting art or canvas or paint or anything. He has no
Sure.
idea. He just knows he wants a thing painted. And he's like, this
Sure.
guy's really good. I'm going to pay for him to do it. And then Cooper does it, and he's like, I don't like that. It's just like people that aren't artistic or especially in the field that they're asking with the medium that they're asking that art be made, like they have no idea. Like, why would they? Why would they? Otherwise, they'd do it them damn selves. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
like there's a lack of I don't know, like
Knowledge or-
knowledge and communication.
well, and sometimes
they don't really
artists
know what to do. Thank you.
artists can get very. I've had this happen to me where I get very attached to something, and I'm like, they're coming in here, they're saying like they want this change, they want this different, they want that, and if it's someone that is not in that field, like I've had to learn this. I mean, it's almost like psychology. Like I've had to learn to be like you need to try and come from it in their shoes, where it's like, well, they don't know to ask those questions.
Yeah.
So don't be mad at them about that.
Yeah, and also
Don't be upset about that. Like help them get to that point of like realizing why
Like you said, educating
X,
early.
Y, or Z is important.
Yeah. That's
You know.
why these colors need to be here. That's why this frame is like this.
Exactly.
Like it's appeasing to the eye. And actually, on that point, you just got 2 new tattoos. I don't know if we mentioned that yet on the podcast or not.
Yeah.
You got the pits tatted.
They're fresh.
It's very similar to when you go and get a tattoo. You tell the tattoo artist, "I want, baby goat wearing a cowboy hat, riding on a pony," and then
I want that tattoo.
and then you give it to him. And you trust this artist to draw this thing, and of course you get the stencil beforehand and all that stuff.
Sure.
But like,
yeah.
he knows what he or she knows what they're doing. So like,
Yeah.
trust the artist.
Yeah, and you see examples. For me and Thomas, you go to a website.
Yeah.
You do certain things.
Check a couple
You see their
films.
work. I like that. I want something
It
like
looks
that.
beautiful. Yeah, exactly. And you tell them what you want, and then they make that what you want with their blend on it.
And if you
trust the artist,
I'm
is what I'm
gonna
getting at.
say a hot take here.
Hot take.
And if you get into a situation like that, and you're still trying to if I went in and was like, well, tattoo artist, I wish it was more like this. I wish it more like. Guess what? That's called micromanaging. So don't do that. Let your artist do the art.
I knew that was going to happen at some point.
Jordan's
we got a
thing
man
fell.
down.
Well, I was gonna say too. So, like, you both dabble in photo and video. Like, what do you think some of the big differences are from like a photographer and a videographer? Like, your brain, like the different art styles or rules for video versus photography.
The different rules. Can you explain?
Yeah. So,
on that?
like, if you're like a photographer only and somebody approaches you for video work, it's like a different thought process or like a different.
Yeah, I mean, they're just 2 different worlds. I feel like in most aspects. So whenever someone, Thomas says before, if someone ever asked me like to do both at the same time, I was like, no. It's like
I don't know about you, Jordan, but like,
nope.
I think my brain would explode if I tried to do both at the same time.
I've done
It's
both.
hard to do both
and
at
I
the
hate
same
it.
time.
So it's like, I just want to do one thing and do it well. So whenever someone asks me to do both, it's like,
It'd be like someone asking, like, can you play guitar and mix everyone at the same time while you're playing guitar?
Yeah, terrible.
So you can say like,
I can, but no, you don't want that.
I'm a great videographer. I'm a good cinematographer. But when you ask me to do both, one is going to lack.
That's interesting
Both
that
is
you
going to
say
lack.
that.
So it's like,
Can you define the difference between the two? Cinematography versus filmography? What is the difference?
Between a videographer and cinematographer?
oh, well,
Yeah.
maybe I said that wrong then. Between like photography and
photographer versus
cinematography.
I gotcha. Okay. I thought there was a different, like 2 different definitions for filmography.
No, but it's
and
like 2 different mindsets completely. There's different rules,
sure.
I feel like, for both. And
It's funny because I've told people this. I actually think photography is harder.
And I say the opposite. So it's like it depends on what you're doing.
Because to me, I'm like, damn, that's so hard. You only have one frame to make it right.
Whereas you get 1,500 for
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel I'm just like shooting a bunch of stuff and it's like, well, there'll be something in there I can use.
But
the
think
Borden
the same-
Brothers, perfect example. Just roll the whole time.
I always feel like the same way.
Photographers say that they're like,
Yeah, it's like
that video's so hard.
when I'm shooting a clip, like this movie, and I only got this one shot, to get it. But whenever I'm shooting stills, I'm shooting hundreds of stills, and it's like I can pick a few, good ones out of that. So
The
it's
arguments are like wildly synonymous, though. You guys are like arguing the same thing.
Yeah, I know. And really it is
With
practically the same
let's make
thing.
it like, let's say digital photography. I mean, you're basically shooting film. You're basically shooting a video.
If you're shooting
If you're shooting, especially like, let's say like an NFL,
for like sports photography.
So,
You're
Jordan,
basically
you would
shooting
say you
film.
overshoot, right?
Oh yeah.
thousands of pictures.
yeah.
I didn't mean to yawn. Cut that out. This is not boring. I'm like
No, I
staring
mean,
down the camera.
Another.
It is pretty similar when it comes to action photography.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I think that's
It's
interesting.
like the
So
24 frames.
You guys
Yeah, because
both
you might
kinda-
be shooting 12 frames a second.
yeah, you both have similar arguments, like why one's more difficult than the
And
other.
it's
It's just what you're comfortable with.
you know,
too.
and I'll say too, like we all as artists, we have to support each other. Like it's I don't know if this was like the 90s or whatever, just this whole like, ooh, there's that person and I'm against that person and this person. It's like, I mean, sure, we have colleagues that do the same. I know Jordan has his colleagues and I have mine, peers that do the same thing. sometimes we're vying for the same, going after the same jobs. But it's been interesting in this part of the country. Like it seems like there's enough work to go around, and I'm just more interested in, like, I've just seen better results if you like champion other people's art.
We've talked about this so many times on the podcast.
Like, instead of shitting on people, like, if it's like, oh, that was dumb, be like, like, if you see somebody post something cool, be like, dude, that was a sick video.
Yeah, sick.
That
pic.
was cool.
Sick pic, bro.
Like, and really mean it. I mean, I mean it, but it's, or just the not saying anything at all. It's like, I mean, that kind of speaks too. So I think we need to support each other.
Do you think you guys handle constructive criticism well when it comes to like passion projects, like your documentary or short films?
I encourage it. Yeah, I mean, how else?
I'm getting better.
How else
love that
am I going to
attitude.
grow?
Yeah, I love that attitude.
Unless people,
When I say I'm getting
Thomas
better,
is like, I dare hurt by it.
because I've had people be like, I don't know what the fuck that movie was about.
That was
I'm
shit,
like,
bro.
that's okay.
I want to
That's
hear
okay.
it. And sometimes, someone's like afraid to tell you their opinions and hurt your feelings. Like, no. It's like, I need to know what you think.
How am I supposed to correct what I'm doing
Yeah.
wrong? Yeah. Especially from the viewer's aspect, which is like more important. Because like if you create all this, you spend all this time creating this thing, and then like the viewer sees it and they're like you just said, I don't know what this film's about. Well, fuck, like I thought I made it clear. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so what confused you? What did you not understand?
But then you also have to like be in a space too where like I've also gotten better at knowing, like, you know what? There may be some people that really like enjoy it, see it for what it is. There may be some people that are like, that really confused me. I don't ever want to watch that again. And that's okay. That's okay. Like and I think that's when you put art and films and pictures or whatever, like, out into the world, like, some people will get it, some people won't. I've also realized, like, some people just hate on it just to hate. That's not cool. They do.
I get it, dude. I get it.
So it's like you kind of just have to let that roll off you and be like, well, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to make it.
They hate us because they ain't us. I have one more.
Bada boom.
Anus. I have one more, not really a question.
Like a butt?
It is kind of a question, but more of a enlightening fact. Have either of you heard of the film Terrifier?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Damien Leone is the writer and director of that film.
Sounds scary.
He wrote. Do you know what he? Have you seen the first film?
I have not seen them, but I've seen clips. I've seen quite a few clips, and I've heard all the buzz about these
will
movies.
You pull up Terrifier if you get a second while we're talking about it? Okay. This is so interesting to me, and this is what gives me hope for my buddy Mike Farley, whose goal is $15,000. This is wild. Yeah, go to this. See if you can find something about budget. Go through here, just search for budget while we're talking.
And 15,000, he could totally hit that.
Oh yeah, no, but
that's not bad.
But you need to go home and watch this film. If you're into horror, watch this film. It has this really strange cult following.
Mm-hmm.
But Damien Leone is the director. He made this first film. Now he's on the third one that comes out this October.
Yeah.
He made the first film for, I believe, $25,000. And it is pure horror gold.
Mm-hmm.
Pure horror gold. I don't know how he did it. I don't know what he did. I don't know how he made it happen, but it is the most beautiful horror film. I'm a big horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most beautiful horror film ever put. It is like contemporary horror mixed with like old school vintage Mike Myers Friday the 13th horror.
Yeah.
You need to watch that film.
It's some crazy stuff.
Do you guys like
need to
one
watch
takes?
One thing I love about that Terrifier 2 is they submitted to the Oscars so that all of the screeners would have to watch it. Isn't that great?
It's so awesome. Did you hear about Terrifier 3 coming out in October?
I've heard about it.
Some like Blumhouse, somebody huge was on board. He got like a huge. The second film, I think he got like $5 million for.
Yeah,
The third
I
one,
don't doubt
he had like Blumhouse on board for like $25 million or something crazy. And then they showed them, they had already been filming, and they showed them the opening scene, and they were like, this is too grotesque. We're not on board.
Yeah.
They were like, this is awful.
Well, and
So the third Terrifier is
Yeah.
going to be pretty bad. and he continued to film it.
And I think the thing, like, with budgets on films too, that people need to keep in mind is like, I think sometimes we hear these like ginormous numbers, you know, that's like, oh my God, like this cost like $50 million.
The Marvel movies, yeah.
Yeah, and some of that stuff is like, it's big just because you're paying people like Robert Downey Jr. and stuff
all
like
those
that.
huge actors.
But even like on smaller ones, even with like 25K, you're like, well, that's a big chunk of money. But like, it takes a lot of people to make a film happen, and that gets dispersed out to so many areas.
People don't even know what key grips are doing, and
so
key grips are
quickly.
making like $5,000 a film.
And sometimes it's like, oh, we really, 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 really want this location.
Yeah.
And the people at the location got keen to it and was like, you want it?
Come get it.
$2,000 a day.
Come get it.
Marvel prices, yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say-
and so it's like you got to pay that. You just have to like make decisions on what you want to spend the money on. That's the hard part, is like knowing like, okay, we
Where can I
do this, or we can do
sacrifice?
this.
Where can I give and take?
But I need to
guys-
go watch that though.
Dude, bro,
$25K for that. Like, that
25,000
sounds awesome.
full length film, so fucking good.
Full length. That's
So fucking good. Hour and a half of pure horror gold.
Are there
Pure
are there
gold.
film styles that you guys really like? Like I love one takes. Like, do you guys have anything
yeah. One takes are
like
cool.
1917? How it was filmed to look like a one take.
Yeah.
Such a
I do
beautiful
like those as
film.
well.
You know what I was just talking to somebody about the other day, 1917, the director of photography or the cinematographer on it's this guy named Roger Deakins. Same guy that did Fargo with the Coen brothers.
Yep.
Don't know if you knew that, but like when you look at those like juxtaposed, it's like dude from Fargo to like this big like blockbuster hit. I love Fargo though.
Fargo's a banger. That's another like cult movie. though.
1917 and
Oh, yeah.
Oppenheimer. I've watched them both like 15 times.
Yes.
They're just so
One
good.
take-
And like
are really
you got to
cool.
watch Birdman. Have you seen Birdman?
I've not seen Birdman.
That's a great one take
I
film.
haven't either.
I know there's more, but
Write
yeah.
that down.
Birdman. And you wrote something else down that
Yeah.
we need to check out.
That one, like best picture, I think, like 5 years
And
ago.
I think the one take stuff is just like different approaches to it's like it's just ideas. Like I'm sure somebody sat in a room with everybody and was like, what if we shot this and it just all looked like one shot?
It's kind of like
You know?
creating an obstacle course.
Yeah.
For
When you
yourself.
think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
and you have to rehearse
You're like,
shit.
yeah, you're like, if this table is the whole film,
And
we're
then you
gonna
gotta
we're
work
gonna
around
yeah,
it.
we're gonna start here. We're gonna build this track for the camera to be on, and then that guy's gonna start there, and somehow he ends over here, and there's some cool shit along the way, but that camera is just all.
it's
the
more
way.
like theater.
gonna be an explosion
It's more like theater at that point.
Yeah,
You know,
it
'cause
is. Yeah, it's more like in the moment.
You have to memorize so
a
much
great
stuff,
point.
and everything has to be so rehearsed.
And that's why the dialogue in 1917 is so minimalized, like because they're shooting for like 20 minutes at a time, and it's
And
like
like they had huge issues with the lighting and stuff like that, and there's all
because
kinds of stuff.
time was passing. Like the sun,
Oh, yeah.
as they were
Yeah.
shooting, would drop like a certain degree, and it would be like obvious.
And there are some actual like, cuts on it where
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
like move behind people's backs and stuff.
Yeah, but they still shot it in like 2 months or something.
oh, for sure.
Yeah, it was
I
stupid.
was gonna say, what do you all do to organize your thoughts? Like, do you journal, or like, what's that like? I feel like as creatives, or where thoughts are kind of all over the place, and you gotta focus on a few, or you get ideas that pop in your head, and you're like, oh, I want to jot that down and save it for later.
Yeah.
What's that like for you?
Yeah, I've always got the notes app, on my phone. So when I get an idea, you
Pop
have
it in there.
You got to put it down.
Yeah, put it in
You
there.
know.
Pen to
Yeah.
paper, or you will forget it.
And that's
Yeah.
why I say, like, I get the new iPhone every year. I'm an Apple slut. But I was going to say, like, I spend so much money
out.
on these devices that, like, I'm trying to get my money's worth out of each device and to, like, actually utilize all
Absolutely.
the aspects that it can
Yeah.
provide.
I'll do the notes a lot. I used to like manually journal a lot, but I haven't done that as much in recent years. Recently, though, if I get like every once in a while, this actually just happened to me earlier this week. I will get these like epiphany thoughts, and I'll leave myself an audio memo, like an audio note.
yeah.
And I'm just like, hey,
I'll do that
here's an
sometimes,
idea
too.
for
Yeah.
a movie. This guy does this, and he's going through this, and this happens. I literally just did that earlier
Yeah,
this week.
even
I
if, like,
started sleeping with my phone next to me because I have dreams or whatever, and I like wake up in the
yeah.
middle of the
Well,
night
it's
and
good.
I write
No,
it down.
that's
and
good.
then I
And
lock it.
you know where it hit me? I was driving, and I was like, "Oh shit! I need to record this right now because."
That's what Brian gets these ideas on his run, and he's like, "Well, I can't type notes while I run." And I was like, "Dude, you have a watch. Pull up your voice
Yeah.
memo and hit record."
that
my
is-
phone is full of like musical notes.
That brings two really good questions for me. I thought I was done asking questions, but like, so when my piece is like torturing my body. I love lifting weights. I love like rock climbing. I love hiking. I love running. I love just
great.
I thank you so much, and you look great too. Seriously, you look really good. But
Been trying to lift a little.
But I find that when I'm in these weird states of pain and like endurance, when I'm going for like an hour or longer of just like pure torture, I find that like my mind just knows what needs to happen physiologically, and then like psychedelically,
It's a great reset.
I'm in a totally different. Yeah, I'm on autopilot out here, but up here I'm like, ooh.
Exercise is huge.
Do either of you have something that you do like almost like autonomically, like you're just the dishes or cutting the grass, or is there something you do that's mindless and then you're firing on all cylinders up here? It's just like creative time in your brain, but you're physically doing something with your body. You know, does that question make sense?
Well,
Absolutely.
I run and skate and like do like tricks and stuff, and so it's like a lot of times on runs, like whenever I run, it's like my time to think. Like I'll just be like, like a lot of times I'll finish and be like, oh crap, I know what I'm going to do about that.
Right.
But before it just is all like jumbled, or skating or whatever. And I know like Jordan's, you like cycle and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
So is that like yours, cycling? Because you just got to keep those feet moving.
Well, and music is like that too. I feel like as long as I'm doing anything in motion, especially with my hands, it'll just like take that level of anxiety down.
Yeah.
You know, like
and now you're up here.
Or just like resets it, you know, or I can think differently whenever I'm doing something with my hands.
He really likes to give me back massages in the office. That really helps him open up those thoughts a lot.
That's hot. I'm into that. Then what was the other? I had one more other question.
Well, while you think about it, I got one. So what's your favorite editing snack?
Oh, I got so excited just then because you said
you look like a
snacks.
hot Cheeto guy.
Oh no.
Because it gets your keys. You got to think when you're editing, you're using your keys and mouse, so you
what,
don't
dude?
want it all.
Yeah,
you're
you know
right.
what? The very first thing that came to mind was like pretzels, which is not super exciting.
No, not thrilling.
No, I'm a pretzel because you chew on them, they last long. You need a drink.
Yeah.
It's like a.
Reminder to hydrate.
What about you, Jordan?
It's usually like, you know, tea and like Laurie bars or something like that. You know, just something a little different.
Jordan's a healthy guy.
Dude, what about editing postures? I feel like when I edit a lot, I kick my feet up on the table. If I'm there for a while, my back hurts. Like, do you guys have like unhealthy editing postures or like any ways to overcome it?
We spend a lot of time
scoliosis back here, dude.
a lot of times behind the computer editing. So I mean, I've got like a stand-up desk next to mine. So it's like whenever I'm not editing, I like to stand up and like do my internet stuff, you know. I'm not sitting hours in front of the computer, you know, doing certain things. So
What about you, Thomas?
I'm pretty traditional. Like I do have a really nice like kind of like orthopedic type like desk chair that my dad gave me. Like he got a new one. He was like, "Do you want this one? Like it's really nice." I was like, "Yeah." So it's got like pretty good like lumbar support. But when I like am just kind of chilling out on an edit, there's been times where I'll like take the wireless keypad and put it. I'll like kick my feet up, and you know we'll kind of be working on that. But
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of like stuff like that, like behind the scenes videos. So, like that's another good question. Like, what's some behind the scenes things that like you think normal people wouldn't realize? Well, Jordan, what you can do for like photography, and Thomas, you can do video. What's like the average Joe? You wouldn't think that they would realize that like
behind the scenes stuff when it comes to what?
Like photography, like something that like you wouldn't think that the average Joe wouldn't think about when like going to photography.
But you encounter it all the time on shoots.
Man, I don't know.
Is there anything wild like you
think you can think
you don't
of
wear
first?
pants when you do a shoot or something? I don't know.
my answer would just be, I don't think the average person has any idea how long it takes to make this stuff.
Like back end post.
Oh yeah, like I mean, some projects like people be like, you know, it'd take you like 5-10 hours. I'm like, try like 45 or 55 hours.
Yeah, we're looking at a month, buddy.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
and that's why some of this stuff costs the prices that it does, is because it's really hard work and it's really taxing, and it's sometimes I feel just like creatively drained at the end of a project where I'm just like, you know, I mean, because essentially, like, we're like being paid to be to be like, use your creative brain for my thing.
Right.
You know, and so it's like, and it's a really fun thing, and I'm really thankful for it. But there are sometimes I just get burnt out where I'm just like, I may just kind of do the same thing on this because I don't have anything new, and like I think it will serve the purpose.
Right.
But
whereas like Jordan, it's the same thing, but you're combing through photos and like 5-starring them to go back through and like
yeah, there's
edit.
a lot to kind of cull through. Now I was trying to think of something that might seem awkward or whatever, like for home shoots, like nobody sees like the position I might be in, like in a corner doing squats, like backed up against the
that's a
corner,
good
trying to
one.
get like the widest angle you can get. You're just like holding these squats, doing these like,
yeah.
Or how many times you take a photo and you realize like the trash can's still in the
Yes.
photo, and then you take another photo and you're like, oh, there are medicines on this counter.
Yeah.
Or
I was on a shoot last week where we didn't have a gimbal, which is basically just this device
Auto stabilizer.
that helps you like stabilize. And I was like, it's okay. I got the Thomas gimbal legs, and I'm over here. And I said that on set, and I was like, had the camera, and I'm like moving. But I've had to learn like little moves, like almost little like yoga moves that you can like, if you're in a pinch, to be like, I'm gonna move it from here to here, and it's gonna look butter smooth.
here's a Fuji plug. Does your camera not have built-in camera stabilization?
Ooh, roasting Kodak right now.
mine does.
No.
Roasting Kodak.
Mine does not, but the Sony that I used this past week on a shoot did, and I was
Dude, it's nice. Like my Fuji
I've
has
been
it, and then my
thinking-
It's
iPhone
so
has it, and I
nice.
was on a
I've
bike
been thinking
ride.
about picking one up.
I was on a
Like,
bike ride
right?
around Scales Lake, so I'm like biking, and I pull my phone out, and I just take like this panoramic like video shot or whatever.
Pull it up
Smooth as
while you're
fuck.
talking about it.
I don't know if I sent it to you.
I've got a lens
yeah, man.
that has image stabilization.
Right.
But
That's what I
it's
was
very
saying. Like
nice.
before I went mirrorless on my camera, I had some lenses that are, IS, image stabilization, and yeah, they're super nice. And then when you get the camera that has that too, it's just like double.
Here's your,
And then you put it on a gimbal,
Here's your
and it's like
stabilization.
triple.
Yeah, you put it on a gimbal.
here's
It's
your
like,
stabilization
it's
right
like you're
here.
floating in space, dude. You're just gliding off into nowhere.
But I think that's something that people don't talk about, is like, to be a photographer or videographer, cinematographer, whatever, like,
You got to retrain your walk.
yeah, like
Heel to
there's
toe, heel toe, heel toe.
there are some things that like literally it is actual body movement.
It's real taxing on your body.
And you're
It
holding
can be.
5 pounds for
Yeah.
8 hours, and like you may not
Especially-
think
that's
about.
that's not considering if, let's say, the NFL
Your back
action
hurts
photographers,
in
like
the-
they're using foot-long lenses.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Microscopic lenses.
You know
dude.
how
Like,
much one of those lenses cost?
A lot of times
do you know
they
how heavy they are?
they
They're
have
like
mo-
13.
a lot of them have like
20 plus
Oh,
monopods
bro, they're
to help out.
and then walk around with that and do your weird little yoga. I mean, it's a workout.
you almost have
dude.
to have like a monopod.
I
for something
remember.
like that,
I
but-
remember my question. This is a pretty serious question, and this is it for me for the interview. And it's a 2-parter, and you guys can answer independently. Are aliens real?
Oh shit.
Hmm.
In your opinion, do you think aliens exist in this universe somewhere?
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, follow up question, part 2. Dua.
Do I know any?
No. Part 2. Do you think that it would be more depressing to find out that aliens do exist? Like, would it be more detrimental to your mental well-being to like see physically an alien,
Yeah.
or to find out that they don't exist and we're the only ones in this universe? Which one do you think would be more mentally taxing on you? Not depressing. I shouldn't have said that. Mentally taxing. Let's say that. Do you think you would be just like totally fucked up if you found out you're the only?
I thought for a long time that we were like the only ones that exist. I will say there is something that is very kind of like as a human being, sometimes that makes me feel really special to be like, what if we are the only ones out there?
Special.
Like we're special. Like that's kind of cool. But then there are other times where I'm just like, oh, there's got to be something out there. And I do think there's like something else out. The more depressing thing would be like, have you heard people be like, what if aliens have already come here? And they'll be like, these guys are dumbasses. We don't really care about them.
That's pretty.
You know?
That's a bummer.
Like, that would be more of the bummer to be like, oh yeah, Earth, we've already messed with that. It's not too special.
All right, Jordan, what do you think? Would it be more mentally taxing if you physically found out aliens truly existed, or if we are, in fact, the only living intelligent creatures in the universe? Intelligence.
Loose word.
I just think
intelligence is used very loosely.
I just think it's impossible that we're the only
Thank you.
beings around. And I mean, I've also seen something back in high school I can't explain. So since then, I've always been a believer.
The argument I bring to the table is the universe is too big for us to be the only thing intelligent and living and like organic. If that is the case, it fucks up homeostasis. It fucks up the entire balance of everything. If you argue that, then that means that the universe is just not balanced.
Yeah,
it
to think
can't
that we're that special, that we're the only ones.
Yeah, Thomas.
No, I said I used to think that
There's
way.
two Thomases.
What do you think, Thomas? What do you
there's two
think? Have we
different
talked about this with you?
I mean, if you think about it, we know more about space than we do the ocean. It's there could be things that are alien to us. We don't understand how atoms work. We don't understand. We just don't understand. Like, there could be things here that were alien that landed here that we just don't view that way, like octopus or orcas with their giant brains
or fungi. Yeah.
Or multiple dimensions. What if there's a 4-dimensional being that can travel through time, and we just live in this 3D world thinking we're all special? I think it's baffling. There's a creature out there that lives in a 4-dimensional space.
And we'll bring that up on the next estuary. I was
sorry.
going to say, as we get towards the wrapping up process, was there ever a point, and I guess we asked you, Thomas, on factors, so mainly this might be Jordan, and then like Thomas, you can go in on like editing aspect. Like, was there ever a point on this journey where you wanted to throw in the towel on the project, or like, like it came out years later, so like was there ever a point where you just wanted to like give up on it? And like, you don't have to talk about that moment, but like what pulled you through, like what kept you going?
Well, I knew I wasn't going to give up, but COVID happened to after the process of filming, and like all the film festivals are shut down, and just like everything came to a halt, and like everybody's strapped for cash. So there was certainly a time it's like, man, we're gonna get this done. But yeah, there's always something in the back of your head saying, what if you don't? What if something happens where it doesn't get done?
So what pulls you through that, or what pulled you through?
Just
that?
Your passion to this thing has been shot. All the material is right there in front of us, and we just need to assemble this and get it together. And even though it took years to do it, it was enough, just encouragement, from knowing what the possibility could be in your head of this final product. And like, what are we going to do with this piece when it's done? I knew that I was wanting to do this film festival run, so it's like, I'm not going to quit now.
No, hell no. Yeah.
What about for you, Thomas? On maybe the editing side or the back end side, was there ever a point like a clip just wouldn't color grade right, this exposure was off, or like was there ever?
I mean, on Sack Race with Knives, most of it was just Jordan gave me a lot of really good footage. It was COVID really kind of took a hit, and I had some personal life things that I was going through that kind of slowed it down. But no, I mean, I think I'm. There are some projects I try to not say yes to something if I know that I don't really like bailing on stuff that often, and so it's like if I say yes to something, like it, if I have to force myself through it, it will happen. I'm not saying to force myself on this, but like it will happen. It just may take longer. So, and I think sometimes like you get a deflation, like where, whatever the project is, like because I think we all like have a time frames in our heads, like, oh, I'll probably finish this at this amount of time. And for whatever reason, it just takes long. And like sometimes some projects like just need more time to come together, and other times I've like literally shot something the day before and sat down and edited something that I thought was really cool in like one day, and it's like, this is it, So it just kind of depends, but
Jordan,
yeah,
was there
I'll
anything,
try to push through.
Was there
So.
anything that we missed that you for sure want to mention?
Well, just how special of a team I think it was. Everybody involved. For Sack Race with Knives.
Credits were long on this one. You had a lot of help.
There
That's what I was going to say. Other than like things we missed out on, last minute shout outs, who's got you to where you're at, who's getting you where you're going, all the people involved.
Some of these people that were involved are some of the most talented people in Evansville.
Yeah, look at that list.
Or in the area. Of course, Kevin Titzer, he's an amazing artist, and Thomas. I mean, like it really took
I was just trying to make a joke.
we really needed a really powerful editor on this, and Ryan Grisham with Mock Orange. Like the music is phenomenal. Everybody keeps on talking about the music.
So it's such a great
Insane
soundtrack.
music.
Yeah.
Having like a professional designer on staff, Aaron Tanner. That was huge. He does amazing work as well.
Shout out to the music though. A ton of the music were like demos, off tracks that like hadn't even been released.
Mm-hmm.
So what's also cool about the documentary is like music from a very talented musician and band that hasn't ever been heard before, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
What band?
So there you go.
What band?
Mock Orange.
Oh, I've heard Mock Orange before.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Born and bred. here
West
in
Side,
Evansville.
baby. They drink
Yeah.
Busch Light, and they're probably Catholic too.
You said they're big in Europe too, as well, aren't they?
Japan.
They're big in
Japan.
Europe.
Yeah,
They're big
and
in
Europe.
Japan.
Eurasia.
They're
Yeah.
big.
And then what about you, Thomas? Shout outs to anybody that's helped you to get to where you are.
Oh yeah.
There's a certain amount of weight that comes with the name Thomas Bernardin.
Oh gosh.
Seriously, yeah, you put together some really good pieces, dude.
Well,
so
thanks,
a lot
man.
of people in the city respect you, and so
Thank you.
to get here, who has gotten you here?
I mean, honestly, I think just like family, friends. I think Jordan and just other close friends from Billy Perkins, just other people that kind of support me, and I think there's a nice community here that like really do support each other, and I want to subscribe more to just the idea of supporting other artists, and I think when you like let yourself go into that mindset of how do we like help each other like meet our goals and stuff, you find people really rise up and rally around you, and so yeah, and my mom, I guess.
Dude, my mom, dude,
My mom. She's always put. I'm like, Mom, you don't have to post on everything.
What about upcoming dates for either of you guys? I know. You've got Sack Race with Knives showing at the Victory Theater on September
12th through 4th.
12th.
And Thomas has
We
factors
don't-
showing
we
there.
don't have
4th through the 12th.
In fact, and one more
12th
actually.
through the 4th.
Oh, like August 12th?
12th through the 14th. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, September
I don't know
12th
if
through the
the
14th.
schedule hasn't quite come
They
out
have not
yet.
made the schedule yet. So that's why
Okay.
we don't have specific times.
And we don't know when this episode's going to drop. It may be early September.
Cool.
It may be. I'm not sure. Thomas is
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, he's going to figure it out on the fly as we
But that's
speak.
like the next big one with
That's
like
the next
both
big
our
thing.
pieces in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got factors. I also have, which we hadn't talked about much, but that's okay. I have a very short documentary piece that I also shot on 16 millimeter film for a guy in Evansville. He goes by the name of Tupine, and I just followed his artistic process through. He's a musician, but he does really cool stuff where like he'll go out and record like a half an hour of like the trees
and incorporate it.
Environmental
Yes.
sounds.
And
Yeah.
so he like mixes like environmental sounds in with this like ambient music. There he is, super talented dude, does these really cool shows, and so I asked him about doing a piece, and he talks about his philosophy he took me to one of his secret spots down by the river, and we like went and filmed some stuff.
I
like,
love
in
the bottoms,
Newburgh.
dude. I grew up in the bottoms.
Yeah, so it was like
yeah.
some stuff I'd never seen before over by Angel Mounds, and like just super cool, dude.
Shout out to Dogtown, dude. Y'all are
Yeah,
holding
man.
it down, dude.
So you should.
Those are my people, dude.
And that showing at Victory also, the Victory Film Festival. So there's going to be, and
How long does the event go on for?
We have so many friends that have
3
films
days.
there too.
It's 3 days, and you're okay. So the 12th through the 14th, you'll be showing all 3 days for your Sack Race with Knives.
Well, like there'll be one screening for mine.
Okay.
And there'll be some screens for his as well. But there's also like 100 and something other.
Yeah. But if you go to Victory International Film Festival, either on Instagram or Facebook,
there's a website too.
when it gets closer to the date, they should
start releasing
They'll have a
times.
They
schedule.
should have a
Yeah.
schedule.
Times. Okay. So if you guys are free, dude, and you're a big film fan, dude, just support these local folks, man. Get out there and check it out because they got some really great shit. Seriously, it's
Support your local art.
honest to God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hold on. What's this? I got something here.
That's Victory. So,
Oh yeah.
Same thing.
Victory International Film Festival, the 12th through the 14th this year. So, and then the website is on here somewhere. I just can't read good. Oh, it's filmfreeway.com/Victor Riff.
that's where to submit. I don't think we need to plug that.
Oh, that's to submit. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm actually
it's okay.
special needs.
Way to go.
I did grow up in the county line area.
Sure.
There's not like a place on here for.
It's all right. We'll plug it in the description of the
We'll
episode.
get a link. It'll be in the description.
I'm
I
surprised
promise
there's
you
not a
guys.
website on there.
And he's taking a
Selfie.
selfie as we're
Sorry
recording.
about that. As we're recording.
It's okay. We're almost done.
No, man. Thank you guys so much.
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe.
Look for that selfie.
And check these guys' social medias out. Like and subscribe their shit. Show up to this Victory International Film Fest, dude. It's international. You're going to see folks from Japan, Europe, all kinds of cool shit. Just get over there and check it out, dude. Support these folks. You guys put a lot of hard work into your shit. And that's why we do what we do. We're just trying to give every little inch that we can. So, seriously, check these dudes out. They're great, man. Tom, do you have any last minute?
This has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Thomas Alfred Grimm III.
My name is Brian Michael Day the First.
And this has been. Go ahead and sign off, guys.
Oh, this is Thomas Gerard Bernardin Jr.
And Jordan Barclay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.